up, y'all? Kofi Kingston here, and I would love to have a drink with Wrestling on the Rocks, depending on what that drink is, preferably non-alcoholic, you know?
How's it going? Celtic Warrior Jayne.
Soda.
And I would love to have a drink with Wrestling on the Rocks.
Maple syrup.
Fella.
I would never have a drink with Wrestling on the Rocks.
Welcome to Wrestling on the Rocks. New set, who dis? I wonder how much of that came through. My mic was down. I didn't even realize I wasn't even holding the mic. Does that count? Does that count as technical difficulties if I forget to hold the mic?
I don't think so.
You don't think so? All right.
If you want to count it, if you want to count it just to have a drink, I would say go for it.
That's a good point. We'll put that one in the call of whoever's got a drink in their hand. If you want to have a drink, that's the time. If you don't need a drink, you can say, well, that's a mulligan. We'll call it.
It's a mulligan.
Drink. I just heard some ice drop. What happened there?
Jar NZ14 followed us.
Jar NZ14.
Followed us. Right.
Cheers. Thank you for the follow.
Cheers to the follow.
That. Cheers to the follow. I think that, I don't know if you can see, we've moved the tip jar over to here on our video feed. I wonder if it drops some stuff in the tip jar. Or maybe you have to like tip money or something. I don't know how it works. I'm not sure. We're not good at this.
Usually when someone subscribes or like follows, it'll drop something in there anyway.
Usually we try to make animations and everything. We're having a hard time with it. We've only been doing this about 2.5 years. It's hard to catch
Every time
on.
someone subscribes, you see it has you strutting, so.
Yeah. All right. Well, for those who have not yet figured out, this is Wrestling on the Rocks at WOTR, the show on Twitter. I am at Ref Marsh, and with me today to save the day, to save the night, to have a drink on us is Just in Time 211. What's up, buddy?
How we doing? Happy podcast day to everybody.
Yeah, today's a big day for podcasts. In our side of the IWC, you are the Don of the IWC, the curator of our side of the IWC. Any other podcasts that came out today you want to shout out real quick?
Just to everyone. Shout out to everybody. Seriously.
You can say a few names, man. I don't mind. You can drop a few names from friends.
I can't name them all. You've seen the list. It just grows bigger and bigger every time.
That's a really good point. If you guys want to see the list of our side and of all of the good podcasts that are out there, friendly folk, just give Just in Time 211 a follow and make sure every Thursday and Friday you're checking out his tweets because he puts those out. He puts them out regularly.
Follow everybody on that list.
Speaking of that list, Bishop in the chat already. TW Takes Podcast, Bishop, twtakes.com/TWTs for affordable merch, comfy shirts. Promo code DIVEBAR for an extra 25% off on that. Let's see. It dropped a logo, Ice Cube. That's funny. A little logo popped up. But he says, oh shit, here we go. That's right. That's right.
Yes.
Last minute fill-in just in time. Literally, as we were 10 minutes late to go on, I just went ahead and sent a message like, just fucking want to just click that link and pop on because I don't know how long it's going to be before I can go on otherwise. It was amazing. Because I also got to think.
Save the day.
Yeah. It always comes down to two. It's like, who do I know that's watching everything? Because that's what we're doing. We're talking about all sorts of stuff. And I feel like a lot of people, because of the amount of content that's out there, have been forced to pick their divide. You're either going to watch 10 or 11 hours of AEW, or you're going to watch 9 hours of WWE.
Mm-hmm.
But there's not a lot of people who's catching all of it. But you are one of them who is.
I got to start catching up on more MLW because they're back on YouTube, so I got to start catching up on them.
They are. I caught last week's. I missed this week so far. I was going to watch it before the show, but there's just kind of a lot going on, so I didn't catch it. But I'm liking what they're putting out. And then next Thursday, they're doing their big Fightland on Vice TV. It's going to be Jacob Fatu versus Hammerstone. It's next Thursday.
Damn.
It's October 7th.
Oh, I thought it was second, too.
No, Jacob Fatu, I think, tweeted out about the second, but the poster and everything says October 7th. Really? Yeah.
Okay.
So I don't know what's going on in the second, but they definitely confused it. Because then MLW put out a tweet today saying, yeah, it's definitely on the 7th. So I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know what to tell you. But, and that's the one that Bishop's going to be there too. So, Bishop says he's going there on Saturday. I wonder if they're recording it on Saturday, but
October 2nd, Philly.
for Fightland?
Does that mean they're doing the same thing they did with Battle Riot then? That
Where
means
they
they're doing
record
the
it and then
same
air it
thing
later?
Yeah, that means they're doing the same thing they did with Battle Riot, because Battle Riot was on like the 21st of July, but it was like that was when they were taping it, and then they showed it later on. So that means, yep.
So that's what it is. They're taping it on the 2nd with Bishop in the 2nd row. No, he's not going to be in the 2nd row. He's just going to be in the crowd. What row are you going to be in, Bishop? He's just look for me in the crowd. He doesn't even tell us where he's going to be.
I'll be avoiding spoilers at all costs.
Dude, can you imagine if Bishop just like loaded his timeline with spoilers like a jerk?
Oh, don't you do it. Don't you do it. That's a dick cop moment. He is dick detective.
Can you imagine though? He just puts on just vague shit where he's just like, a title change is definitely not a terrible wrestling take out here in Fightland. And you're like, what the fuck do you mean a title change?
Shit.
Well, especially because what was it?
Trap right now.
Well, isn't Jacob and Hammerstone? They're both putting up their title, right? So no matter who wins, a title change happens, right?
Yeah.
So he could say that and still be right and vague.
Ooh.
Be like, oh, didn't see that title change happening, but you don't know who he thought was going to win. Yeah. Amanda Jayne is on the way. She says she just pulled up, so it's going to be just a couple more minutes. So either way, though, man, it's good to have you on. It's good to have you come have a drink. What's in your glass?
I have a big ice cold glass of Sierra Mist. The
Very
knockoff
nice.
Sprite / 7-Up, whatever the hell you want to call it.
Yeah, I always liked that one. I thought the way you said it too, nice cold glass. I thought you were going to go like the way of The Rock, and you're going to tell me like a nice ice cold glass of Shut the Hell Up or something. I was all like, oh man,
That's harsh. That's a little harsh. I wouldn't do that to you.
I'm having even more of a knockoff of Sierra. I'm having the bubbly sparkling water that's lime bubbly. It's lime flavored bubbly.
Bubbly. The good.
A little bit of the bubble. A little bit of the bubbly. Yeah, I'm having that with a little bit of vodka, a little new Amsterdam vodka, better than old Amsterdam, a lot more fresh, if I do say so myself. Oh, let's see. Well, so you've been keeping up on all of AEW. You're a little behind on MLW, but you're keeping up on NXT, right?
Yes. And
That's
actually
awesome.
been enjoying it.
Of NXT 2.0, you've been enjoying?
Oh, hell yeah.
Dude, I'm loving it, and it's such a battle every week here because Clump and Amanda hate it so bad.
It feels like it has more life to it. Like it's not like it doesn't feel like it feels like it's trying to get itself back together still, but it feels like it has new life to it now.
Yeah, it feels totally different. I thought someone had described it pretty well in a tweet recently where they said that the NXT that evolved after the passing of Dusty Rhodes, and when you think about it, that time frame checks out. That was right when Dusty Rhodes passed right before Sasha and Becky and Charlotte all got called up, and that was right before I don't know. I'm going to think about timeline-wise. I don't think it was as much of a like. I think Sammy and Kevin Owens were both there already for sure, but I think it was just before like Finn Balor came in and made the big shift there too. So when you think about that time shift where it went really from super developmental with like the Sashas and Baileys and the Bray Wyatt and the family of them, like when it was truly developmental, like what Dusty was doing, shifting over to more of an indie wrestling style and look and feel. That they said that, you know, the people who were big fans of that indie style look have truly forgotten what developmental meant, and it's going to be harder to retrain them on what it's going to look like. You know what I mean? Amanda, welcome to the show.
She's here.
I'm here. I'm so sorry, guys. Mama called. Had to be with Mama today, so.
She has arrived with her Chibi Starks.
Yes, my Chippy Starks, and I'm not drinking today. I'm actually ice creaming it. So this whole thing of Baskin Robbins rainbow sherbet is going to be gone.
Oh, sherbet.
Yeah, I know.
In lieu of a drink, she has a pint of Baskin Robbins rainbow sherbet.
Yes.
So
Just blend
what's
it,
in your
just blend it
glass?
together and make a smoothie.
Yeah, seriously. No, I don't can
Yeah.
of Coke. Yeah.
So next time, instead of asking what's in your glass, I'm going to say, what kind of pint do you have?
Oh, today's pint will be. That's a good
Yeah.
one. Yeah, we'll have to find a
Yes.
sponsor
Yeah.
for that. So,
Yes.
ice cream
Oh, yeah.
sponsors, if you're listening, call me.
Baskin Robbins, they're up.
Yep.
Awesome. Bishop does say he's going to be in 4th row of the MLW show, so we'll have to keep an eye out for him. So, Amanda, thanks for coming through. I'm glad that I've got Justin on my side here because he's a big fan of NXT 2.0. So now we can railroad you
Lord.
instead of you and Clump teaming up on me. It's going to be great.
I'm sorry, Amanda. It's happening.
That's all right. That's
Yeah,
all
so
right.
get ready. Put your dukes up.
Okay.
So the only thing, Jeremy does say in there, does the dive bar have a new desk layout? Seems flipped to me. Cheers, another episode. Actually, that's a good point. I should have mentioned that we completely switched the layout
Yeah.
because otherwise people are going to think that they're fucking screen flipped. Like, why is this
I
opposite?
thought
Yeah,
it
no,
was high.
yeah.
I thought I was drunk without drinking because I looked at the thing and I was like, whoa, it's backwards.
Yeah, it really does look like your camera just flipped it because I didn't realize that, like, unless you're really paying attention to behind me, I did a pretty solid job, I think, of absolutely reversing it, right? Even put the coffee on the other side of the mug.
Yeah.
Like, it's
It still looks good though, so
it looks like a
so,
horizontal flip in the camera. So
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
not like it's a hot mess,
no. Well, I mean, so
Chelsea.
the idea of it was strategy because sometimes I miss some of the chat, and this way I can see both monitors that we have now because of the producer setup.
Oh, fancy.
Alright.
Yeah.
Fancy,
So now,
fancy.
when I'm reading it by myself, or when I'm doing the show without producer, because me and the ironic duo of Kevlar get a wild hair up our ass and say, let's see if we can get a whole show done before producer shows up. That I'm not hiding behind another monitor just to read the comments. So it was thoughtful and it worked out, and yeah, it really confused Jeremy. Jeremy, have a shot. I'm gonna count that as technical difficulty on your side. Awesome. For anybody who is listening and not watching, though, twitch.tv/Wrestling on the Rocks, you can come and join the chatter. Or you just go to WrestlingOnTheRocks.com and see all the videos. I post them all there every week, so you can see the videos there as well.
Support us by subscribing on Twitch.
Yeah, subscribe on Twitch. Do the Prime subscribe. Put the unsubscribe, the no notifications, whatever it takes. It buys me a beer. I think I saw somewhere, too, that they're going to start, if I remember correctly, an email made mention to Prime subscriptions no longer needing to be redesignated every month, that they should automatically start pretty soon. So if that's true, that could be really lucky. So anybody's got an Amazon Prime subscription, Prime subscribe to us. It's free for you. You're already paying for it. It's already in your Amazon Prime subscription is one free Twitch subscription, free to you, but it buys me a drink. So I suggest everyone do that. And if you don't know how, you can go to WrestlingOnTheRocks.com and you can go to the join the chat section, and it breaks down how to link your Twitch and your Amazon. So the only thing I had for news, let's get into it. Let's talk news, if you're all right with that.
Yeah.
What do you got?
The only thing I have was the one little quote that came out that a lot of people were up in arms about yesterday, and I talked about it briefly with Kev yesterday, but I want to know what you guys thought of it, where Kenny Omega had said that WWE was desperate, and that's why they keep bringing back legends.
Oh
Did-
boy.
Yeah.
Does anyone think he was being intentionally ironic, or like, like
Fitting.
yeah, because I
Yeah.
saw it and I just laughed because I was like, oh, WWE's desperate, and I was like, okay, maybe he's got a point. They're doing stuff, and but his only point of that they're desperate was, well, they brought back Goldberg, and you're like, what? They didn't even advertise Goldberg for one.
Yeah.
Right?
I was like, and secondly, if you watch the pay-per-view, SmackDown and Raw this week, Goldberg was the only person who, quote, came back. And if you even go as far back as SummerSlam, John Cena was an active wrestler 2 years ago. Like, that's not that far of a reach. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And when they do their Legends nights, it's usually one night with a few cameos, and all the talent are still fresh talent.
Mhm.
All that to say, when I watch AEW, There's more WWE Hall of Famers on AEW than there is on WWE.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't even have to get off the commentary desk before you start seeing it.
Oh, yeah.
If you're saying that WWE is desperate, therefore they're reaching into nostalgia, he's going to be real disappointed when he watches AEW this week. I don't know. Did you guys think there? Well, I mean, but it makes you wonder if that's what he's saying. Does he not know what's on his own program?
He must not be.
No.
Paying attention.
No. Because remember, it's really, for them, it's all about the elite.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
which
most
the elite
people-
is a nostalgia callback to the NWO. That's why they say they call themselves the Super Click. They say Too Sweet. They do the NWO hand sign. They are a nostalgic act. They're a cover band.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So much so that the Jacksons have been trying to dress sort of like Shawn Michaels for a while now.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
They have. And supposedly Kenny Omega's hair is a reference to Harley Race. Like, I'm just saying, it's weird.
Really?
That's what he says. I have a hard time buying it, but that's what he says. But it's just weird.
That like dark navy blue hair that matches the belt.
Oh, no, not that part. The chops. The chops that go into the mustache. Yeah.
Got it. Okay. I thought that was the
Jeremy
village people.
Jeremy in time does say, I'm pretty sure I see Sting, Arn Anderson, Tully Blanchard, CM Punk, and Chris Jericho almost every episode, and somehow that's not desperation. You
Christian
also...
Cage, Matt Hardy, you're missing a lot.
Yeah, you're
Jake
missing
Roberts
a lot.
is still coming out there. He'd be there.
Jake Roberts, Taz, Christian Cage, Tony Schiavone,
White.
Jim Ross, the Guerrero, Vicky Guerrero, Chavo Guerrero,
Technically Scotty Goldman, but
Juventud Guerrero coming on. Fucking Christ's sake. It's just funny to me. But I did also find it really funny the amount of people who got like upset about it. And I was like, okay, well, you don't need to get all up in arms about it. I saw it and I laughed because I was like, he's clearly being ironic or speaking gibberish. Like either way, there's no point to listen to it. You know what I mean? Like he either is intentionally trying to be funny or he's not even listening to himself when he speaks.
who did he quote that to?
Yeah, some interview. I don't know.
See, Omega weirds me out with that stuff because he talks all that shit, but then you see all these interviews that he has where he's always like, I wish we could work with WWE and all that stuff. And I'm like, make up your fucking mind, Kenny.
Well, I don't think those are mutually exclusive. I'll go on Kenny's defense on that one. Saying that he believes they're desperate, that's why they bring back Goldberg every 6 months for one match.
Yeah.
Could be how he feels about WWE, and he could honestly feel that if they worked together, it could be mutually beneficial. He could think, oh, they wouldn't need to bring back Legends if they worked with AEW. We have enough hype behind us that we could actually benefit the other show. Like, I wouldn't argue that necessarily. I don't know if it would actually work or be good or how it would all play out, but if you're looking strictly at numbers, if Dynamite is doing comparable to Raw in the provided viewership, then there could be an overlap that could be beneficial to both sides.
I mean, we all know that's the dream, is to see those two work together. The dream is for everybody in the wrestling company to work together.
It's not my dream. It's your dream, Justin.
It is, though. I want to see that. I just want to. It doesn't have to be the certain amount of companies working together. I want to see all companies work together. Be amazing.
That's a lot of booties.
That's wrestling. That's a wrestling freaking like revolution right there.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah. I mean, so I think if you did it the right... Well, I mean, when you think about it, that's what WrestleMania was. That's how WrestleMania started. The first WrestleMania was just a conglomeration of all of the best talent throughout all the territories that Vince could get to come do one show. They weren't all his signed talent. You know?
Yeah.
So you're not wrong in that it could be... The thing that I like about the separation of companies is you do get those moments of true dream matches. Like when you look at old magazines and stuff, the dream matches were Ric Flair versus Hogan when they were in separate companies. The dream match right now is like Kenny Omega versus Roman Reigns. because they're in different companies on such high levels, you wonder how would it be. There was the dream match of Kenny and Daniel Bryan, and now they could happen. But I think that also they overuse the term dream match, and they'll put like Jungle Boy against Hangman Page and call it a dream match, and you go, no, it's a match you want to see, but it's not like something that's been impossible for so long. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh, I know. Yeah. They have
So I like that anticipation.
dream matches do happen, people. But sometimes, you know how they say, you know, you never want to meet your favorite people, or whatever that saying goes. Yeah, sometimes you really don't want that to happen, because now it's like, is that it? And most people know what I'm referring to. The Battle of Amanda, we call it Bola. Like, it was Ring of Honor. That was the joke. Okay, actually, you can thank Marty for that one. It was in Las Vegas. It was Colt Cabana versus Marty Scurll, and both of them all the time were like, "That is never gonna fucking happen." It happened back in England in 2014. It's not gonna ever happen again.
Yeah.
Lo and behold, a drunken night with Marty and, you know, all sorts of people, Delirious, all of a sudden booked that, and I'm like, what the fuck? Next thing I know, people are like, did you book that match? And I go, no, are you kidding me? No. And it was funny because like Colt was ultra serious and Marty was like really playing up to me and the whole thing. And yeah, I made a shirt that's half and half. I made a really cool like little interview that Colt didn't want to be interviewed, poo head, but you know, whatever. But it's really funny. Yeah, just to see me with Villain Enterprises, it was very funny. So
Really, Colt didn't want to play along?
no, he didn't want to play along.
Wow.
Jerk.
Yeah, it's a little weird.
Yeah.
But
That's why I'm mad at him. I'm like, jerk, dude. It's like, and you had to. No.
yeah.
And of course, you know, Colt lost, so you know. Yeah.
Well, he's not better than Marty. Not in the ring.
No. But yeah.
Yeah. So the other thing, I mean, did either of you like really give too much mind to what Kenny said or think much of it?
No.
No.
Me either. I did see one tweet, and it was along the same path as that to me personally, but probably up to them. But they tweeted out right after Dynamite the other night that said, not a single current AEW champion came from WWE, period. And I was all like, you've been saving that in your draft for 3 years? Like, like how long have you been sitting on that and waiting to say that? It's been a long fucking time because, hello, AEW's also been, I mean, fuck, their first champion for a long time was Jericho for the sake of it being Jericho. And they said Jericho was their Hogan. And everyone said, well, it should have been Page, but it's really smart. It was Jericho. Why? Because he was a WWE champion.
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter to me, no. Yeah, him and then Mox. Yeah. I mean, it took him a long fucking time to get all the champions to be AEW born and bred.
Mm-hmm.
But it's also funny to me that it's like, well, WWE's desperate. They brought back Goldberg. Like, okay, well, you were desperate and you brought in Jericho and hung a whole show on him for a fucking year and a half. Just a little pot kettle and just funny to me.
Yes.
I like petty stuff.
I think it's weird. Speaking of, Miro's title run with that TNT belt was kind of short. I kind of liked his run.
When did he get it? I thought he's had it for a bit. Oh, I guess you're right, though. I guess it wasn't that long.
Half, maybe? Yeah. 2 months at tops. Yeah.
Was it really that short?
Yeah.
It felt longer than that.
Yeah, it felt like it went on forever.
It's because his promos and everything, and, you know, every week everyone's like, oh, God, he's going to mention, you know, his God, his hot wife, you know. So, I don't know.
That's a good point.
But,
good point.
Yeah, but that's where it's interesting. So is it going to be, my question is that belt going to be bounced around? I have a feeling it's going to be.
He got it May of 2021. So we got May, June, July, August, September. He had it 4 months.
Okay.
140 days.
Oh, that's not very long.
No, but that's actually like semi long, right? So Cody had it 82 days. Brody Lee had it for 55 days. Oh shit, that's crazy. Days recognized versus the days they actually held it are different numbers.
What?
Cody's recognized for 91 days, but he held it for 82. Brody's recognized for 46 days but held it for 55. So I think that there's an overlap there that they give it to Cody. Maybe it has to do with tapings. Maybe it has to do with tapings. Brody's recognized 46 but actually held it for 55. I wonder if they taped the title change like a week or two before it happened, and that's this weird overlap where it's like, well, technically you actually won it like 3 weeks ago when they taped it, but you know what I mean? So, I mean, either way, if we go by recognized for whatever's sake, Cody had 91, Brody Lee had 46, Cody Rhodes then again held it for 31, Darby held it for 186. I wish they had a list here of how many times they defended it too, because Darby didn't defend it for the first like 3-4 months. Yeah. Then Miro held it for 140, and Sammy is at like 2 days, obviously. So, yeah. So, I don't know. So, yeah, 4 months. I think, yeah, it might be popped around a little bit. But, yeah, just thought it was kind of funny. None of their champions are. Yeah, as of now, finally.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Give it a moment.
Yeah, give it a moment. Coming through the chat, though, Grim Reaper says, hello. La, la, la.
Hello.
Cheers to Grim Reaper. And Jeremy also says, I love it, he's defending Goldberg. He goes, at least when Goldberg is given a championship, he loses it. He loses it almost immediately afterwards. His recent title reigns haven't gone more than a month, which is true. They've used Goldberg as a transitional champion to either end someone who seems relatively unstoppable and they don't know how to get out of it, but then also flip it to the next big person. You know what I mean? Yeah. Because, like, let's see, he took it off Kevin Owens, which was to make the Brock Lesnar-Goldberg match bigger. So he only held it for like a month so he can make the Brock Lesnar match at WrestleMania big. But supposedly, if you want to believe Jericho, and I have no reason not to, he says the direction they were actually going towards at the time was to get Jericho versus Kevin Owens in WrestleMania for the Universal title, which I could see happening. But Jericho versus Kevin Owens is not a bigger match than Goldberg versus Brock, so I can understand why they wanted to switch that away. But I also understand being upset that they would do that because it'd been a year-long storyline of them as friends. So like, I understand. I think I mean, I get both sides. And then let's see. Also, he took the
match was good.
It was actually. It was a good match
for 5 minutes, and they were just spam finishers. It was still freaking good.
Yeah, and they were fucking huffing and puffing and just slamming each other around. It was dope. Let's see. The other one was, what was it? He took it off of Bray Wyatt because how are you supposed to take it off Bray Wyatt? And Bray Wyatt actually like kicked out immediately afterwards. Like he just didn't want this fucking title because it seems to be more trouble than it's worth, which they didn't really play into much, but kind of what it looked like. But that was so that you could get Goldberg and Roman at WrestleMania. I mean, that was the whole point, was to get Roman and Goldberg. Roman ended up not being at WrestleMania because of COVID. It ended up going to Braun. So there's that. But yeah, apart from that, those are the only times I can think recently that Goldberg's taken the title, and he's flipped it pretty right away. And that led into Brock Lesnar's fucking terrifying, almost 2-year-long reign. You know what I mean? Like, fuck yeah. Remember how hated he was? People fucking hated him that year, dude. Oh, here he comes. Every 4 months.
Hey, and the one thing they don't have, everyone that freaking flips out about Goldberg, myself included, because I have the tendency to not like Goldberg
and get emotional quickly. At least, I love it.
At least look at him. At least look at him now. He's targeting Bobby Lashley, so he's not going for a title, so you don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, it's a beef thing. Hey, you strung up my boy, and now I'm gonna maybe murder you, which is a crazy thing to say. But then Arn Anderson said it also.
Talk lately.
Yeah.
I mean, Goldberg says, I might even get lucky and kill you. And you go, God, that's rough. And then fucking Arn Anderson says, I put a Glock to his head and spill his brains out all over on the concrete. And you go, fuck.
Arn Anderson's like, you hit my window. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to call out the 9 out of the freaking glove compartment.
Yeah. You ever driven around in LA? People just knock on your window, dude, to ask if they can wash your fucking windshield. That shit happens. Not with Arn.
Someone's about to get popped quick.
Yep.
Yeah. Hey, man, can I wash your windshield?
He's gangster.
Yeah. Gangster as fuck. Jeremy does
rolled
say,
You know,
we can get, Jeremy does say, unfortunately, Miro defended his title mostly against people nowhere near his level. He defended against Archer, Kingston, Fuego twice, and Lee Johnson, and you can argue none of those guys are on the level of Miro as a champion. Grimmer says Arn is the enforcer of life. Yeah.
yeah.
Also, to be honest, I mean, we'll talk about it when we get there. Even Sammy, I
we
didn't
don't
feel
get a
like was on
shirt-
Miro's level.
If we don't
What
get a
shirt?
shirt with Arn fucking with a gun, then
Go to
AEW
boxinggimmicks.com. Boxinggimmicks.com already has a shirt that says Arn with the R is a handgun like Sopranos, and underneath it says spilling brains on concrete since 1982 or something like that.
Nice. I want someone to make a chibi Arn with a Glock.
Someone made a good edit earlier, like I saw with Arn doing the 4 with a freaking piece in his hand, and I was like, "That's great."
Oh yeah, there's a whole bunch of really good Arn tweets going around today. So good.
I love it.
Let's talk real quick though. I did see there's only one match on. Well, let's get into the shows, right? There's anything else you guys
real
want to
quick-
say about the news, right?
Quick bit of news.
Oh, go
Quick
ahead,
bit of
hit it.
news. Actually, Marty yesterday actually appeared in Puerto Rico.
Yes. Happy
And,
he's back.
People are up in arms, of course.
Let him be. Let him be.
Yeah, and you know what? He did. I didn't see it yet, but that took me on to the doctor, and I was like, "Oh, I gotta watch this." But I guess he did a little interview with somebody. So my thing is, hey, go on, check that out.
Okay.
Yeah, it's worth hearing out and see what's going on. So yeah, if he made his appearance in Puerto Rico,
Yeah, he'll
if
be
you
back
find-
in October.
yeah,
too.
if you find that that the link to the thing, send it my way so I can take a listen.
Oh, the interview?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I already have it before.
Oh, okay.
Awesome.
So, yeah, let me know where I can find it.
Mhm.
Well, let's get into the shows though. I mean, unless you have anything else. Anybody? Anything? No? Cheers. Well, cheers again to Ronda Rousey. They had a baby.
Yes.
Yeah, she had the
With
baby.
a middle name that nobody can pronounce.
I can't pronounce the
Jesus.
first name, man. I want to
Lakea.
hear it. I want to hear it first. That's just what you think, man. I don't know. I've driven in Hawaii, and I'll tell you, the way you say words that you read are different.
Yeah.
Remember, what was that one highway?
What, Kamehameha?
Yeah, Kamehameha.
Nope.
And how was that spelled? Fucking 600 letters.
And
It was
then you
insane.
and then you have
We were
the-
driving out there, and I was all like, "What the fuck is this highway? How do I even find it?" And because even the direction was all like, "Go down to Kamehameha," and I was like, "Sweet." And then I look at the fucking highway, it's like I'm not seeing it. And producer's like, "It's that one right there." I was like, "That's not what that says." Like, but it is. Like, I'm just saying.
There is the one in Hawaii in Oahu it looks like, but it's licky.
Oh yeah, the like. Yeah,
the like. Yeah.
like. Yeah, 100%.
Don't insult my people.
Yeah.
Come on.
Leaky. That's what I mean.
Leaky,
That's why I'm
yes.
saying I'm not insulting your people. I'm saying that seeing words like that, I already know that I'm not going to guess that. You know what I mean? There's a whole
That's not
other
for Hallies
way
to
here.
do. That's not for Hallies to do.
That's what I mean. It's not for me to do to try and say I can figure that out. No. I'm going to let you teach me. You know what I mean? I see that written down. This is my baby's name?
Well,
Okay.
There's I'll tell you this, to be fair to King Kamehameha and his highway, sometimes they don't even put the word. There's a picture of him, and it's his highway next to it. So,
Mhm.
you know, for the people who get confused. So, unless like, who the fuck is this guy? You know, but
Yeah, 100%. I'm just saying. Far be it from me to presume I know how to pronounce that.
I will say this: if AEW ever decides to go to Hawaii, because I'm pretty sure that most of their rosters never wrestled over there, unless they were with WWE. So I'm there.
It'd be worth it. Be worth the
I'm
trip.
Yeah.
Let's talk AEW. So this week, since I knew Clump wasn't going to make it, I thought, you know what? For the sake of Amanda, I'll watch AEW and NXT so we can kind of break it down a little bit so Amanda's not alone talking about AEW. And I'll see, because haven't watched it really in over 6 months, except for a small snippet here or there, a promo. I saw the Kenny and Daniel Bryan match, but I have not been watching it regularly by any means. And sometimes I'll put it on and not even get through the full opening segment before I turn it off and say that's enough of that.
Yeah.
So I decided to sit down and watch Rampage and Dynamite. today and see how different is it. A lot of people have been saying they've been really catching their stride. It's really cleaning up. That there's all those rumors out there right now that the EVPs are almost EVP in name only, that they are not as involved in the creative as they once were, and they no longer have the say that they used to, and that right now it's really on Tony, and Tony's saying to do what I say, and it's becoming quite a thing. So, I mean, I don't know. I'm not there. I don't understand contracts, but that's the rumor, and so I thought, you know what, I'll watch it and see. And I gotta say, overall, same old, same old. It was a little bit cleaned up, but it still was not, it wasn't that different. It wasn't very different, and they're still very segmented, and it's very much like watching clips on YouTube one after the other, and there's no like storyline that keeps you hooked throughout the night. It was a very fragmented show still. So I don't know. I didn't hate all of it by any means, but I did watch the Ricky Starks match on Dark because Amanda told me to watch it. Amanda, why did you want me to watch that match?
Well, I wanted you to watch it because obviously with that particular match, because the sense that I got from it is they're really putting a lot of stock to him because he was making that kid look really good, that guy.
Yeah.
And I was really impressed with that they're having him, you know, of all people, do that kind of work. Now, I'm not saying he doesn't deserve to do it, but I just was like, wow. Because it was great. And I mean, it's textbook what it, you know, what you think selling should be, you know, didn't have that.
He was working a headlock for the first half of the match.
I know. I was like, what is this? But he does a lot of stuff. I mean, he has a lot of stuff in his repertoire. But for me, I was like, wow, if they really give some of these people a shot at, you know, trying to help with some of these talents and things like that, you know, there could be some really great shit that comes out of AEW. But you also have to wonder, well, who's the one that's, you know, producing some of this stuff? Does it come from a person like Sanjay Dutt? Who's it coming from? Because I know Tony wouldn't, you know, have that kind of mind. So, but that's why I wanted you to watch it because I was impressed in that head. I'm like, whoa, headlock, what are you doing here? You're looking like you're training to go with Zack Sabre Jr. He'll put you in a pretzel.
There was a lot of chain wrestling, a lot of really cool catch wrestling. It looked like a WWE style match. I was actually pretty impressed by that because I was like, it seems a little ballsy to do that in front of this crowd. This crowd is not that much into those types of matches. But also, I think that the crowd's getting to a point where they just don't give a shit at all anymore. I think the crowd does not have a flavor anymore. I think whatever you put in front of them, they're just going to eat it up. And I think that's pretty cool.
I don't know about that. There's still some certain things that kind of like, whatever. But I think that the more certain people wrestle a little bit more, that people are kind of, okay, you're getting used to whomever, you know, because I think that like, there's some people now that I'm like, you know, I really wish that Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page, I'm going to pick on these two. Okay, first of all, it's kind of stupid to have them in the tag team, but that's just my opinion. And then second, it's like, there's no, like, what they're doing now, it's totally a disservice to both of them because most people don't know Ethan Page's work. They don't. And I mean, we got to see a lot of really good Scorpio Sky, and then it just kind of fizzled. So that's where I'm kind of like, well, you know, no, you've got to, you know, think about some of these guys because, you know, like Jericho eventually will have to hang him up. You know, Sting probably is not going to do another match like he did the other day. No, I mean, you know, so, you know, you have to look at those people in the future. And then also, with that being said too, someone was talking about how, what was it, 2 years ago when they were starting, who they were really high on? They were really high on MJF and they were really high on Joey Janela. Look what's happened. Who are they high on now? Still high on MJF. Same old. But Janela, I mean, it's like, you know, that's such a waste because he's got such a good mind, a creative mind. And, you know, I don't know. But yes, no. If you did not watch it, I recommend watching it. Yeah. He's
Oh,
not
yeah,
like
the
on
Ricky Starks
Thatcher
match is
level.
good.
Yeah, he's not on Thatcher level, but he can hold his own. And that's very
But he
impressive.
also looked like he could have been in a match with Thatcher fine. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He looks like he probably would lose, but he'd hang in till the end. You know what I mean?
Yeah. He'd probably be
Like-
scared if Thatcher smiled at him. I mean, I would.
I'd play that up.
No.
Hey, why we hating on
Murder Grandpa, I'm trying next week. I'm trying not to run away. I told.
Yeah, no, I would play it up. If I were to book Ricky versus Thatcher, I'd have them trying to chain wrestle. I'd have Ricky catch up Thatcher in something, Thatcher get out, and then just smile at Ricky, like he's so happy that he hurt him. And then Ricky just being like, "Oh shit," and then just getting fucking clobbered,
Yeah. Yes.
Poor Ricky.
The coin. Yeah, poor guy. But it's okay. It's okay.
Yeah.
But it was
a great
really
match.
good. Yeah, it was a great match. So I thought that was a good highlight. Still disappointed that he's not talked to Phil yet, or Phil hasn't gone there yet.
Yeah, I don't know. Did you guys watch Rampage?
Mm-hmm.
No.
I watched the Hulu version. It's only the last 42 minutes.
Well,
So I didn't see how it opened. I didn't see CM Punk versus Powerhouse Hobbs.
now
Oh,
let me
that-
tell you,
yeah.
you need to go back.
I
Because-
can't go back. Hulu is how I watch it.
I will show you a link, and you can go back and watch just that match.
Oh my god. All right, fine.
Yes. I'm sure, like the
Hey, Hobbs and
Bay Area has
Punk
that.
was actually solid for what it was.
Was it?
He
Go ahead,
was
talk about it,
solid.
guys.
Yeah, he was solid. I mean, shit. I didn't know what's going into it. I didn't know what to expect. I don't know how you feel about that, Justin. But
Punk let Hobbs beat him up for a big chunk of that match. So I was kind of amazed.
I think it was better than the match with Darby, to be quite honest, and not because Hobbs is my boy, but I thought it was a lot better because you could see how winded when he was with Darby, how winded Punk was. He wasn't as winded at this one than he was with the Darby match. Because the Darby one, I'm like, dude, man, if this was like, this is your first match back after 7 years and you can't hang, maybe you shouldn't have come back. Money can't be that good. So
They still did one thing right with that Darby match. They didn't make it a Darby match. They didn't make it fast paced to where Punk couldn't keep up with him, which was good.
No, but he still looked winded at the pace it was at.
Yeah, he looked like he was just like, all right, let's do this and get it over with already.
Yeah,
Come
he's
on.
like, I'm totally gassed. Hurry up.
No
But
more.
Yeah, Hobbs brought he brought it. He brought everything he could into that match, and I think probably if I were to look at Dynamite and Rampage, I think that's probably one of the best matches that happened this week. Absolute hands down, because you could see the
I believe
growth. Yeah.
I believe it. I did not see a lot of great matches, but
That you need to see. I'll get you it. Trust me, I'll get you
all
it.
right.
Yeah, but I am just speaking of Phil here. Yes, I'm one of those people. I'm gonna call him Phil. He, wherever he's gonna go, it's gonna be, everyone's just gonna pop for him, because when you look in the crowd, at least 50% of the shirts are that new CM Punk with the white one that looks like the other one.
He's the new
first
John
one.
Cena.
Yeah,
He's everything he never wanted to be.
Yeah, and now he's it. But I think that with Punk, there's gonna come a time, and I can't wait for it. I don't know who it's gonna be against or whatever, but there's gonna be a time where people are gonna get sick of that shit. Because I already see it with MJF. People loved it at first, and now they're just like sick of it. Like, whatever.
Oh,
Inner
I mean,
circle.
yeah.
Whatever.
Inner Circle
Yeah.
got pretty tiring. Cody's tiring. I will say this. I thought was interesting because I think this just goes to show that like where your show is and what time makes such a difference, right? Because people are constantly trying to talk about and compare Raw's ratings and all that stuff with Dynamite, but Raw's literally going head to head with Monday Night Football, and that makes a difference. This was a Friday night show, and Friday nights are tough to get viewership. And I say that to say that CM Punk had his first match on TV in over 7 years here. And their ratings on this was like 640,000. It was like a bad NXT show. More people saw the second episode of NXT 2.0 than saw this. More people saw Braun Breaker's second match than watched CM Punk's first match in 7 years. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And I'm just saying that, like, I think that the way we all try to compare that stuff is not fair to these things standalone. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Unless they're truly head-to-head, comparing it is very difficult to be realistic, because I'm not trying to say that no one was interested in watching Punk's first match in over 7 years. But I am saying I don't think that everyone who tuned into NXT 2.0 was dying to see Braun Breaker's second match. You know what I mean? But that's the way that we're comparing it as fans, and I don't think it's fair, and I don't think it makes sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. But, you know, it goes to show you that the star power that people think that some of these guys have, it's not there. It's all in the branding and the packaging. So
it's branding, packaging, and what time they go on and what else is going on around it. Like,
exactly. Mm-hmm.
I think there is a huge desire for people to see CM Punk. I think it was also proven when he made his debut and everybody knew. They got, like, on a fucking random Rampage, over 1 million views. But they haven't gotten near it since. And this one's like, look, it's his first match in 7 years. You had 1 million people want to see him just come out and sit down on the ground. Of course they're going to want to see him in a match if he can even go. Or is he really not as popular as he thinks, and people wanted to see the novelty of CM Punk coming back, heard what he said, and said, okay, I get it, and not interested in him wrestling. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think that's all the case, but I'm saying that, like, when we all try to compare everything all the time, we do a disservice to even the thing we're trying to support. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Absolutely.
That's all I'm saying. Jeremy in time in the chat says, he goes, of Punk. I think he's trying to say sick of Punk coming out, cutting promos, and sitting on commentary. It's to the point that he either needs to wrestle or not be on TV, but I don't know but I know that won't ever happen. Yeah, I really was not impressed with him on commentary.
No. Now, Ricky, not say because it's Ricky, he has some gems up on Rampage. There are some great lines, and I'm just like, this is gold. Whoever thought of this. But yeah, no, Punk was kind of like, in a way, I don't know, he felt kind of condescending on the mic. I don't know why. It just was like, okay, like, I'm better than that. Well, no, dude, no, we know you're here for the money. Just,
yeah, he definitely comes off patronizing. He comes off disingenuous to me. He also sounds like somebody who hasn't watched wrestling since 1986 or 92, maybe.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
All of his references and all of his comments are based off of WWF in like 92 and 93.
Yeah.
He kept reference Lloyd's of London over and over again. That fucking company dissolved in like 99. You know what I mean? And they never reference what it actually is. He thinks he's being fucking funny. Jim Ross goes, oh, that's clever. I get it. But your entire fucking 18 to 35 demographic that you're trying to talk about has no fucking clue what you're talking about, dude. And you never explain it, and it's not that funny, and you keep going back to it like it's a tired joke that got a chuckle one time, and you think you're brilliant. It was just weird. He was trying to do commentary like he was Vince McMahon because he's obsessed with Vince. Like he thought it was awesome to go, what a maneuver. Yeah. On like a random jump to the outside. Like, I don't know. I just wasn't into it. I was all like, oh, you sound like somebody who hasn't watched wrestling since 92, and you think it's funny to make fun of the fact that I've watched wrestling this whole time. You're mocking me. Which is my problem every time I fucking watch AEW like is somebody's on there just mocking. Like the Bucks, yeah. Go ahead, Jess. I didn't mean to cut you off.
I'm saying, like you just said, it sounds like the Bucks. They're just, it's like, oh, you're a fan of wrestling? Well, guess what? I'm not anymore. I'm not as much as I used to be anymore. So let's just rub it in your fucking face and say it's bull.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like fucking, oh yeah, I used to watch wrestling when I was a kid. I'm an adult now, so I don't watch wrestling. You go, fuck, you're catering to adult. Like, who do you think's fucking watching? You know what I mean? How old do you think everyone is in the ring? They're not kids.
That's for damn sure, you know.
Yeah, I mean, especially on AEW. Your fucking average age of your fucking company is about 54. Grim Reaper does say Punk is channeling the old Superstars episodes he would watch as a kid. Yeah, because it's the last time he watched wrestling or gave a shit. That's my point. I mean, the fact that his whole match of Darby was basically Bret Hart versus 1-2-3 Kid. Yeah, it's a great match. I'll go watch the original. I don't need a cover band. I thought you were good. You're supposed to be the best in the world. You can't do a match better than that?
Yeah. But I will say,
if you're so fucking good, if you're the best to ever do it, why aren't you doing a match better than that? You got to fucking copy it the best you can, you know?
Yeah. I think that phrase is just stupid. Best in the world. No. But I mean, you know, when you get like gems, I can't remember who Ricky was talking about, but there was something he's like, is it a crime to be in love? And then there was another one. You can see the DNA left on the guy's chest. I'm like, whoa, bro.
Yeah, I remember that line.
Yeah,
That's
like,
funny.
oh God. I'm like, this is great. Then you hear CM Punk and his like horror, you know, his things. I'm like, what do you want to hear? I want to hear the randomness that comes out of Ricky Stark's mouth.
Oh yeah, for
Remember,
sure.
we've seen him on commentary when he was with WWE, and it was like his commentary there was pretty much the same.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. The only thing it was good for is he was promoting his now ex-best friend wearing his circle shirt. Just
You know, this whole show is like built for adolescents, and here's all the proof I need. Remember, because I keep saying that, right? That it's like everyone talks about, it's like, oh, it's for adults. I'm like, no, it's for adolescents. There's a difference. I'm on the AEW's official website to have my breakdown of the episode, so I can just kind of see, you know, keep track of what happened in what order. This is an honest line that they have when they're breaking down the Powerhouse Hobbs and CM Punk match. Punk popped the bird to Hook with an exclamation point. That's a standalone line. They're talking about what happened. Punk charged Hobbs and connected with a drop kick. He began kicking at Hobbs' quads. Hobbs raped Punk's eyes. Punk followed up, though, with a drop toe hold on Hobbs. Punk popped the bird to Hook. They're saying he gave him the middle finger. That's how fucking exciting and proud they are.
How
Look at our show had a middle finger.
Popped the bird.
Yes. Popped the bird.
Yeah, okay. Just say freaking flipped him off.
Also, you're advertising someone using the middle finger like that's a fucking selling point. I'm an adult. That's like Beavis and Butthead shit.
That's
You know what I mean?
Childish shit. They're like, hey, look, he did the middle finger.
Yeah, they do middle fingers. It's pretty cool. You should watch it. That's not a reason I'm going to watch a show. Like, I don't hate that it's there, but they literally are using it like a selling point. The show's for adults. They use the middle finger. That's not a qualifier to me.
I will say this. I think there is a huge percentage of people who probably watch that match, not because of Punk, because a lot of people are obsessed with Hook.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, yeah. So,
And he just
I don't know.
wrestled already.
I know. It'll happen. It'll happen soon. But yeah,
Remember
I
no.
that-
hope it's not
say-
against Punk first, because I don't want him to lose against Punk already.
Mm-mm.
I do.
No.
I want him to lose it right away and break his arm. Teach him a lesson.
Jesus.
He's
Teach him a
just a
goddamn
boy.
lesson. Yeah, he needs a lesson. They need to go mass transit on his ass.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh.
Rest in peace, New Jack.
Yeah. Grim Reaper does say, but he left wrestling in 2005. At least throw out a few Taz commentary references. That's what I'm saying, though, Grim Reaper. I don't get the impression that CM Punk, by watching or listening to him ever, has ever really been a fan since he was a kid. Even when he worked, it didn't sound like he gave a shit. It sounds like he thought he could do it and make money. Now that he's back, it looks like it's a money grab, and it doesn't look like a passion. The way he's been shitting on everything for so long, and the way that all of his references are so old, tells me that no, he's not a fan of wrestling. No, he's not. He's not paying attention even when he was there. It was a means to make money and live the lifestyle that he just wanted to do. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, when he was on Backstage, he was getting trivia wrong and the producer was getting right, and she's only been watching for 2 years.
Way to go,
Yeah, like
producer.
4. Yeah, yeah. Knock him dead, producer. Oh, another little ice cube coming through, clump falling over. Can't read that shit though. Somebody I think we got a follow or something. Cheers,
Woo!
whoever it is, whatever you did. No, I'll check my email, see if it comes through. But
Flashy people.
yeah, I don't have to shit on his commentary much more than that. I just was not impressed with him on commentary at all, and I thought those references were. It reminded me of Chris Jericho being on commentary, making a whole bunch of jokes about like fucking Archie from fucking All in the Family, and you're like, yeah, dude, your crew doesn't know that. You know what I mean? Like RJ City's pretty ironic with his old Hollywood references, and he's also in Hollywood. You just sound like an old dude who remembers things from when you were from a long time ago. You know what I mean? Like, because you're old. It sounds like you're trying to be as relevant as you can, and you're trying to make your other old men friend laugh. You know?
Yeah.
Bishop in the chat. I've been saying that about CM Punk for forever. Punk is whack. That's right. Punk is whack.
Shit, he's whack.
But
Also not a very good person, but we're not going to.
Yeah. But yeah, I'll watch that match. I just didn't. It wasn't on the thing. So as we go through it a little bit more, Super Click, Adam Cole, Young Bucks, Matt, Nick, what the fuck? Oh my God. Yeah, Adam Cole, Young Bucks, Matt and Nick Jackson with Don Callis, Cutler, Doc Gallows versus Christian Cage and Jurassic Express. Jungle Boy, Luchasaurus, Marco Stunt. How the fuck was that match?
Well,
good actually.
Yeah, because I think I've said it episode 1 before. This is where Adam Cole is the best Adam Cole with the Super Click. You know, I mean, I don't know, but it was a hell of a
talk
match.
About it.
Well,
I didn't see it. You guys got to tell me.
Well, the one thing that I think that kind of dampens it, just myself, my opinion, is Luchasaurus, because I just don't think the guy is very good at all. It's like,
I like Luchasaurus. I really do.
I don't, because like, okay, yeah, you're on Big Brother, whoop-de-doo, whatever. But what bothered me is because you're a luchador technically, okay? So on the Indies, when he would have a match, he would come out and he would like be taking pictures with the fans without the dinosaur mask.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, bro, that's your gimmick, man. Why are you goddamn Luchasaurus then? I don't get
that's
it.
your whole thing.
And I don't think he's that great either. No.
See, I like Luchasaurus. It's just everybody loves Jungle Boy so much, and everyone loves Christian. Everyone loves like Christian so much that it's just like he gets overshadowed by both of them.
Yeah, but I'll tell you what. With Jungle Boy, I mean, I'm partial to Jungle Boy because he wrestled a lot up here in San Francisco.
I love Jungle Boy though. My God.
And let me tell you, okay, a lot of the times when he would wrestle, because his dad always showed up. I could never find his dad. I'm like, quit telling me he's here. I want to see him. Like Chris Christopherson, his son Jody wrestles, and he's always in the front row. Like I've sat next to Chris a bunch of times and stuff.
Chris Christopherson's son wrestles?
Mm-hmm.
Wait.
Jody the
what?
Wicked.
What?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Jody Christopherson. Mm-hmm.
Awesome. I'm gonna look him up now.
Yeah, you're gonna have to look him up. But no, he's really good. I love Jody. But I was always like, oh, where's Luke Perry? And then finally at PWG, when Jungle Boy made his debut, they were like, Luke Perry's in the balcony. I'm like, shut up. And I said, are people talking to him? And they're like, oh yeah. I don't run for anything. I run for safety. Okay. I bolted from pretty much almost where the entrance ramp is at PWG all the way up the stairs to the balcony. It was not. I was like, oh my God, did I miss him? When I got there. Yeah.
I heard Luke Perry's here. I'm Flash.
I'm like, I fangirled so hard. He had said something to Jungle Boy, and he was like, "You probably talked to Amanda, huh?" I'm like, that's really sad. Like, like your dad here? I haven't met your dad yet. Oh my God. Yeah, it was great. Hilarious. So I got to meet his whole family. They're really cool. Yeah, his Luke Perry and his brother look identical. You would think they were twins. Yeah.
Nice.
Is I had that 90210 nostalgia. Okay. I broke down. It's like I saw my favorite episode of 90210 the other day.
No.
Yeah. And then he got emotional with me. So, yeah.
Luchasaurus, though, I don't think that it's who he's surrounded by necessarily. I do think that who he's surrounded by is actually better at what they do than he is, and it makes what he is doing glaringly worse, is what the problem is. Because when me and Kevlar first watched AEW, we both picked up on Luchasaurus right away, and we're like, this guy's fucking badass. And even Klump was like, oh yeah, you guys are going to like him. He's really good. And the more we watched him around to other people who were better than him, the worse he's been looking. And it's to the point now where I got a Luchasaurus shirt for Kev. He fucking loved it. It was like Jurassic Park style. And he's watched a ton of them, and he's like, I feel like every time I watch Luchasaurus, he's worse than the last time I saw him. Like the opposite of what you would want or expect. People are getting better each time. I don't know what it is. I don't know if he's complacent, if he just thinks he can do it. This is where he is. This is what he's doing. But he's just around people who are so much better than him. It just makes him look that much worse. And I don't think he's putting in the effort he used to. I just don't.
And for being a bigger guy, he doesn't do too much.
Yeah, and his kicks look terrible, and they're getting worse.
Mm-hmm.
But
and when you look at like Archer, that they're about the same size. So it's like night and day. And then you see little Marco next to him, and little Marco is like all over the damn place. It's realistic. It's not like with Luchasaurus, it's kind of like forced a little sometimes. But if you like Luchasaurus, you like Luchasaurus. Not my cup of tea.
And I mean, and I'm not trying to say that he's like, I don't know him and I don't know what's going on there. I don't know that he's not putting in the effort. I don't. But I'm just saying, from an observing perspective, watching it, that's what it looks like. But I didn't see that match. I did see the ending of the next one. Wait, no, I didn't. Wait, did I? What the fuck is this? Hold on. Yeah, I saw the end of this one. Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page against Jericho and Jake Hager. I saw like the last minute of it, 2 minutes of it or so. And it was just a fucking mess. Dude, Jericho thinks he's really good at shit that he's not good at.
Yeah, I hated that match. I couldn't wait till it was over, actually.
Yeah.
But watching what I saw of it and the promo afterwards, even, Scorpio Sky is just severely underrated, man. He's underutilized like crazy. He should be their top star right now.
Yep. He should have a belt. And I mean, the whole thing, I mean, that's why I said, it's a disservice to both of those guys to be in a tag team. They don't need it.
Yeah. I don't get how you took two guys that were in a tag team and then just said, oh, they're going to go single, but now they're going to go together.
Yeah. Besides, I think personally, like Ethan Page, the tag team when he was doing the North on Impact.
I love the North.
The North is fantastic. Totally fantastic. So, when I see this, I'm like, that's just me.
Yeah, and I honestly think Scorpio should be a single star. I think he should be in the world title picture. I don't know why I mean, other than the fact that Tony Khan is just clearly obsessed with Young Bucks and Kenny Omega, the first AEW show I saw, Double or Nothing, I remember watching that and just thinking to myself, Scorpio Sky should be their world champion. I thought he had so much going for him. And I was like, if you play this guy right, I think he could be like The Rock. You know what I mean? He can be a massive star, super charismatic, can do it all. And he's also a better wrestler than The Rock. I'm not saying The Rock is bad, but I'm saying Rock was not. If you go back and watch his matches, they're pretty basic. And they didn't need to be more than that. But yeah, Scorpio Sky is just a fucking incredible talent that they're just completely sleeping on because he's not the fave.
But even when he was the third man of SoCal Uncensored.
Oh yeah.
So you, I mean, they were phenomenal, the three of them. And when they would break off, and it would be him and Frankie tagging, or him and and Chris CD tagging. I mean, I enjoyed that, and they were setting it up almost so that you're gonna see Scorpio get his push. Again, it's like him and Hangman. Those are the two that I'm like, you guys shit the bed on those two dudes. Completely shit the bed, and you can't go back to fix it.
Yeah, they've shit on them, and yeah, it's a bummer. But let's see. After that, though, after the match, what's his name? It's not Don Callis. Dan Lambert.
Yeah, and Lambert
came out with all those UFC people, and it was just such a weird and awkward whole setting where like Jake Hager and Jericho pull in Dan Lambert, and they're standing around doing nothing, waiting and looking, and you're like, what the fuck is happening? And then you see that like these UFC people are slowly meandering. Paige Van Zant looks like she's just dancing and waving and smiling to everyone. Like they're just obviously here to play. It's obviously here to just goof off on a silly wrestling show because it's cute. And Jericho and Hager were left standing there looking like idiots, like they were going to do something but just didn't. And then they looked like they were blindsided by the longest, slowest entrance of all time. And it's like, fuck. And then they go in there and they just did a bunch of sloppy shit. Jericho looked awful. Jericho took one good bump in all of it, and then he cut his forehead, and it looked obvious. And I just don't. I think Jericho being involved in this did it any favors. I don't see the fucking point. Are we getting to Jericho versus a random UFC guy match? Is that where we're going? Because I don't think I think Jericho's ego thinks he can pull off a match with literally everyone, and I just don't think that's the case. He barely pulls off a match when he's a tag.
Well, he's shagging with Orange Cassidy on the boat.
Oh my god.
Versus
I don't know. Did you guys like this segment at all?
No.
No, definitely not.
I turned it down.
That's funny. Let's see. Jeremy in the chat does say, as long as Marco Stunt doesn't do anything, I really like Jurassic Express. Marco makes everything and everyone around him look like a joke. Yeah, I can't disagree with that. Look like clowns at a certain point. And Bishop says, remember Scorpio won the Sonic Ring on a pole ladder match. What did they do to help? He actually cut a promo and talked about that. That was after this match, or was it the next night?
Yeah, it was after this match. No, it was after this match, I believe.
Yeah, and he even said, or maybe it was on Rampage. But I feel like it was
one of the two this week. Yeah,
it was one of the two. But he said, I got the Sonic Ring, and he goes, I pulled it down, and nobody gave a shit. And you're kind of like, fuck, yeah, they fucking slept on him, and he's cutting promos about them sleeping on him, and they're still just going to sleep on him. And that's what sucks.
Yep. Way to go, Tony.
Yeah, and then after this, we had the Lucha Bros versus Santana and Ortiz. Or no, Lucha Bros and Santana and Ortiz against Butcher and Blade and Private Party and Big Money Matt and the Bunny were out there. There's a million people out here. And this whole match, all I thought was, man, they're sleeping on Butcher. He's fucking good.
Mm-hmm.
He is
and
good.
He's an impressive dude.
Mm-hmm.
I will say, out of both shows, out of everything that I watched this week, which is, I guess, was 3 hours of AEW, my biggest takeaway was Scorpio Sky and the Butcher are severely underutilized, and they're not going to be well utilized. That was my biggest takeaway. I don't know why Matt Hardy's trying to be the barber now.
I don't know. I'm just like, there's certain people that I'm kind of like, no. And I don't know, is it me or is Private Party kind of getting meh?
They've gotten meh for the longest time now.
Yeah. Because I'd rather Top Flight. Top Flight is amazing.
I wish his brother would come back.
I know. Is he injured?
Yeah, that's why he's not there.
He got apparently huge pop at PWG.
Crazy thing is, I don't mind Seidel taking his place right now.
Yeah, no, because Seidel's got that very similar style, and sometimes I feel like his brother can't keep up with,
Oh, Seidel's brother, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He's a little. He needs a little more work. He's still very botchy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, if there's anything you liked about that, you could talk about it. Otherwise, yeah, Matt Hardy was upset that Orange Cassidy doesn't let him cut people's hair off, so he's going to put Jack Evans in a hair versus hair match. Which I did like Jack Evans being like, what? No, I'm not fucking doing that. Like the way he was telling him no way, I thought was funny. Mm-hmm. But I didn't care for that. I didn't care for Anna Jay versus Penelope Ford. Am I missing something there? My other biggest takeaway was Anna Jay and Tay Conti are incredibly overrated by that fan base. They just like that they have two pretty women out there wrestling and skimpy stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'll be honest, I watched that and then I watched NXT afterwards, and B-Fab and Elektra Lopez are a little bit fresh and new, and they're not the best in that division. Their match was still way cleaner than Anna Jay's match with Penelope Ford.
Yeah, I liked it better than, even though I didn't really like their match on NXT, but I liked it better than I liked the Penelope Ford and Anna Jay match. That's for damn sure.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Is I think that Anna Jay, Penelope Ford, and Tay Conti all still need plenty of work. I don't think they're TV ready at all, and I think that people are super forgiving because of their look. But I don't think they're good on promos. I don't think that they're good in the ring. I think that they're all so new and they're getting a ton of TV time. And the only thing I can think of is just it's literally as close as they can get to, like, how do you be the Divas era without being the Divas era? And we'll get women who don't actually know how to wrestle out there but look pretty and put them in something skimpy. You know what I mean? Like, that's what it felt like. This felt like Divas era matches.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
You can tell me if I'm being too harsh on it, for sure.
No, that's what it is. I mean,
it really does feel like that.
yeah, Anna Jay, like, it shocked me when they actually signed her, because she looked like shit, I thought, on Dark before she was signed.
Yeah.
And, like, why would you sign someone like that? You know? But I get it, keep people. That's Jungle Boy's girlfriend now, whatever.
I do remember the first match I saw with her thinking she's got a lot of potential, but that was 2 years ago now, and at this point I'm all like, you're not better than you were 2 years ago. Like,
Nope.
you've got to get better. I will say that I really liked her, I mean, and she liked it a bit much too, you could tell. Her back elbow is snug and looks good in the corner, but then that was like the only thing she did for like over half the match, and you go, oh, she's really good at that one thing and knows it, so she's doing that one thing over and over again. Everything else she's doing is falling apart. You know what I mean? You can't just be good at one strike. But yeah, I would feel after 2 years I wouldn't still be saying, well, the potential's there. You'd say, okay, well,
There, it's not.
or even saying like, hey, it's coming along. Like, remember when Ronda Rousey first wrestled? The first match was like pretty good for a first timer. Really good for a first timer. And then the second match was all like, yeah, it's not like the best match, but like it's better than the other one. Like, every match she had was better than the next one. By the end of her run, at the end, you go, yeah, damn, she's pretty fucking good. Like, you should be thinking that after a while, but some people just are really limited, I guess. I don't know, man. Justin, what do you think of the Lights Out match? We got Eddie Kingston, Jon Moxley, Suzuki, and Lance Archer. You can even tell me what you thought about the promo before it, too, because it was a fucking mess, that fucking promo. They were all talking over each other, and it was a mess.
Yeah, the promo was just
Yeah.
a giant clusterfuck. But the match, I even wasn't that big of a fan of the match.
Yeah.
Honestly, AEW does not know how to handle Suzuki at all. For shit, like, they cannot. His matches they bring him out, and his matches are just too fucking short. It's just a mess, and that was like the most tame Lights Out match ever, like, I've seen. I expected when I heard Lights Out, I'm like, oh well, and you got Mox and Kingston, and here comes the blood and everything else, and nothing, just absolutely fucking nothing.
It was a real PG match for sure. Dude, the first chairs they grabbed had cushions on them.
Yeah.
And then
he did off too.
Yeah, he breaks it, but then also like they did the thing where they were like swiping at each other's chairs and not at each other. And then he does the thing where he like pokes Jon Moxley in the stomach with the chair but doesn't even get near him and drops it, and it just looked fucking phony. I was like, what is this?
Yeah,
like, Suzuki's fucking incredible.
So
like, what the fuck is going on?
AEW does not know how to handle him at all. They cannot.
Amanda, what'd you think?
Well, it was very sloppy. And I had two people ask me in DMs, why the fuck do you call him Murder Grandpa? That looks horrible. Well, that's not Murder Grandpa. That was not Murder Grandpa at all. I think that I don't know if it's more of a Suzuki thing where he kind of knows that these Gaijin, there's no way. Because he's never worked with Kingston. I don't think he wrestled Mox, but then I don't know.
He did.
I don't
He did in Japan.
Oh, he did. Okay.
The U.S. title match.
That's right. But you see, it's different. And the Japanese style of wrestling obviously is different. So I was like, when I was watching it, I was like, oh my God, this is like exploding barbed wire.
Oh God.
Yeah, that's all I could think of was, man, why did they put Eddie in all this shit like this stupid shit? Yeah. So that's where I was kind of like, because I've seen matches in other settings when Suzuki's come to the States, and it wasn't like that. No. I mean, you legitimately would be scared of the dude. Like, because it's like, yeah. So, I don't know. It was a bummer. That was probably like for me, the biggest disappointment in the week.
A stinker of a main event.
Mm-hmm.
And then Homicide shows up, and it's supposed to be a surprise, but they play his music, and they have a graphic on the thing. And the thing is, he's like, they still haven't announced him even being an AEW or anything. And then he comes from the back, and it was really weirdly like a terrible surprise. You know what I mean? Like, if he's supposed to just come out there and it's supposed to be one of those like, oh my God, who's this moments, they really did everything they could to make that not happen, which was weird.
It's funny because it was out of order too.
Yeah.
Because Suzuki literally just wrestled Homicide earlier in the night before that, and since this was taped, this was Homicide's bringing him into the U.S. Like having Suzuki in the U.S. and Homicide showing up, and I'm like, that's the perfect timing. Except you just did it in the wrong order now.
Mm-hmm.
That's funny.
Yeah.
I laughed. I was like, you did it in the wrong order. It's funny. You fuck up.
So funny.
You
funny.
fuck up big time.
But yeah, I'm going to be honest, between this match and the Moxley-Suzuki match that I saw, there was part of me by the end of this just being like, man, is this Gage match going to suck that we're going to in October? I'm like, is he just not got it anymore? And like, this is like a retirement tour or something? Like, that's what it feels like watching this. But I got to believe it's just everybody he's around and stuff. Because then Lance Archer did that shit where he starts beating up all the ring crew, and I was like, what the fuck is this? And he starts like grabbing him and slamming him on one side. I was like, what the fuck is he doing? Like, this is stupid. And then he goes and grabs Moxley in like a choke slam and like softly places them on them where they slowly tumble, and it looks like the phoniest, stupidest shit. And you're like, so you went out of your way to try to like,
He was trying
even
to the KES of New Japan.
Yep.
It didn't work.
He does that all the time. He used to do that all the time in Japan. Remember, he used to just be at the Young Lions.
Him and Davey Boy. Yeah.
What's the
doesn't work without
KES?
Davey Boy.
Killer Elite Squad.
What about him? What the fuck do they have to do with anything?
Well, I'm saying because Archer would do that all the time in Japan, and he have Davey Boy Smith, and that was his thing. But it never looked like this like hokey pokey bullshit. I don't know. Is it someone telling them in the back? Oh no, you gotta be really careful because
But even then, so just from a psychological standpoint of the character of Lance Archer, he's going to choke slam and slam Moxley. So in order to not hurt Moxley, he goes and leaves Moxley alone for a long time while he picks up a bunch of smaller guys, piles them up in the side so they can all be there to catch Moxley as to prevent him from getting hurt.
Yeah,
well, remember,
that was corny and stupid.
That was.
I hated that.
But remember, in Lance Archer's world, everybody dies. So since Moxley was obviously not going to die, he had.
How the hell was Moxley going to die when he took like the lightest bump?
Yeah,
I know.
It was the softest bump too. He looked like he was falling through a bunch of feathers. It was just like
fell in slow motion.
Exactly. That's what it was. It looked like he was falling in slow motion. It was such a fucking delicate and I was like, as I was watching it too, I was like, what the fuck is Lance doing? And he piles them all up, and I was like, oh my God, he didn't really just set them all there to catch Moxley, did they? And then he did, and I was like, what the fuck? And then they caught him so well that they slowly fell, that it was slow motion, where I was like, no one for a second, like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
It just looked so bad.
Yeah. I don't know sometimes what Tony's thinking back there, or whoever's helping him, because man, some of this shit is just bad. That was
And I thought it was bad when Damian Priest jumped into Sheamus's arms.
Oh
well,
yeah.
Damian Priest sucks.
Yeah.
Slowest spin kick into a catch, and I was like, he's doing a pirouette.
Exactly. It's like, oh, what a romantic moment between the two of them.
No, I was like, God, Damian Priest sucks. You can't tell me any different.
Fuck Priest.
The Roman Reigns of ROH sucks.
If Sheamus
then.
had grabbed him and kissed him on the forehead and then put him down, I think I would have laughed.
Yeah.
That would have been great. You know, that kind of shit. I'd like that. Bring the comedy. Put the comedy in it. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, this was a match that was trying to take itself seriously and looked anything but, and so I didn't care. On Dynamite though, let's see. We don't need to like break down everything though, but you really liked Adam Cole versus Jungle Boy, didn't you, Amanda?
I did. I did.
I did too.
You know, it was a good test for Jungle Boy to wrestle someone who has somewhat skills that's around his size.
Yeah.
And I think that it was a very good display of what, you know, Jungle Boy can do. It's not always this jokey, okay, I'm in a trio with a midget, and I don't want to call him a midget, a small guy, and a
Child.
wrestling dinosaur. You know, so I mean, I don't know what more you can say about that one, but I mean, it to me was, you know, I was like, oh, okay. I thought it was really good for what it is. And again, Adam Cole is a different Adam Cole when he's not in that NXT, you know, umbrella. It's a different Adam Cole.
What do you think, Justin?
I loved it. As soon as when they got like, I don't know, maybe 5 or 10 minutes in, and I'm just watching them go at it, and I kept saying it every time. I'm like, why isn't Jungle Boy a champion? Like, I'm like, you guys are seriously missing out here. How has he not had one title yet at all?
Yeah.
Like, it's just fucking nuts. But it, like Amanda said, it feels like a different Adam Cole. It feels like he's back to his old, like, much better roots now, and I love it. And honestly, him and Jungle Boy matched so well, and I immediately I went, God, can these two have a championship feud? Like, it would be amazing just to see those two go. Just I want to see more of them every time now.
The one thing that does make me a little sad, and I think it was probably going to happen, just maybe once, is I was hoping that Jake Atlas would wrestle with Jungle Boy again. I've seen they have a series, I think, of 5 of them or maybe 6. I've seen all of them in person, and every time it kept getting better and better and better. And I'm really glad that Jungle Boy was able to have another display of some of the amazing things he could do. And it's like, you need to give the guy the goddamn TNT title. Let him run it for a little bit, and I think that'd be incredible, because then you're putting more emphasis on, okay, it's not jokey wrestling. I mean, there's some people who can really do it. I mean, he already is a shirt seller, so.
Yeah. And I did think that, I mean, even before I saw him next to Adam Cole, Jungle Boy and also Orange Cassidy both look like they're in tremendous shape. They're both looking so much better than the last time I saw them.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Orange Cassidy's put on some size and really leaned up. Like, he was never in like terrible shape, but when I saw him this week, he definitely looked a lot leaner and a lot bigger. And so did Jungle Boy. Jungle Boy's been putting on size, and I thought that was really cool to see those guys putting in the work. Adam Cole looks softer than ever. I also thought Adam Cole looked stupid in this match a couple of times, just a couple of spots. It wasn't like overall. The match was fine. It was a pretty solid match, but there was a couple spots where like there's the one where Jungle Boy pushes Adam Cole towards the turnbuckle, and Adam Cole does that whole like jumps up so Jungle Boy will go underneath him. And when he lands, Jungle Boy's not underneath him. And Adam Cole just stood there and was all like, what? What is the... And starts looking back and forth. You're like, obviously he's behind you. Like, how unaware can you be? He's not in front of you. Stop looking in front of you.
Jungle Boy did that earlier, though. So
the same thing? Yeah, I just don't like spots like that. So maybe they both look stupid at different points. Thanks for pointing that out, Justin.
Because I remember Jungle Boy doing it. He went to do the up and over, and Cole just stood there.
Yeah, I was like,
And he put him back in the side headlock, and I'm like, oh, that kind of made Jungle Boy look a little stupid. And then and then Cole proceeded to do the same thing, and then he put him in a waist lock, and I'm like, really? You just did this earlier. Why'd you have to rerun it?
Little soon.
Well, probably to have this whole thing where Adam Cole clearly thinks Jungle Boy is stupid, and Jungle Boy is proving to Adam Cole that you're also stupid.
Everybody's stupid.
You know what I mean? And I don't like. I mean, I'm saying it that way because it's funny to me. But like realistically, it's the whole like you're underestimating me, and I'm gonna show you shouldn't underestimate me by using your own trick against you. You know what I mean?
Huh.
I think it's probably the way it's meant to play out. But to me, watching, just being like, just turn around. It's just not the best spot for that psychology, I don't think. But, you know, I don't know. But it was decent. It was a decent match. I like Jungle Boy. He looked good. He obviously took the loss here because why wouldn't he? He's a loser. That's what losers do.
Oof.
Jobber to the stars.
Oof.
Okay, one thing I have to call this out because
Go
it
ahead.
baffles me. Okay, Adam Cole's entrance. Okay, so his music, whatever, comes out, and you know, there's parts to it that you know people could probably screw it up, you know, and add where it's not supposed to be. But how come? And these are the same assholes. How come they could do that boom shit with Adam Cole and then the baby, and it's fine, and then you have Marty's entrance and they can't fucking whoop whoop at the time it's supposed to be? I don't understand that. Can somebody please tell me? Because
This is a more educated audience.
Yeah, I'm like, what the hell?
How do you not know how to time the whoop whoops?
Yeah, it's in the damn song. It's every
song.
8 counts. Come on now, people. No, 16. Excuse me, I'm wrong. But yeah, no, it's in there. You don't just add it every time whatever. No.
One of my favorite parts when Adam makes his entrance is, I think it was JR made reference that, or maybe, I mean, somebody said it on the, who fucking knows? There's so many people talking on that desk. Someone said that Adam Cole's song was #1 in the rock charts.
Oh yeah, fucking Punk's response, yeah.
But if that's true, that song, Adam Cole's entrance, is the #1 of the rock charts because it's Adam Cole's entrance, I love that earlier this same week, Jericho tweeted out that Fozzy was like number 17 in the rock charts and just saying slow but steady. Talking about how we're on the way to #1. And Adam Cole's all like, I don't know, it's just a song they made for me to come out to, and it's #1. I guess you don't have to be that good to like be #1 in the rock charts. But you would know that being a rock star, right? Right, Jericho? What I'm saying is nobody likes Fozzy as much as everyone thinks they like Fozzy.
No. The cruise is part of the whole thing. It'll be very interesting because his Cole's old lady is going to be on the boat. So I'm assuming he's probably going to be on the boat. But whatever. I don't give a fuck. But but they did their announcements already. But I will say this: that when you watch Fozzy on that boat, this is the sense I got. They performed 3 times at the first cruise when I went. Watched it once. Yeah. I can have that time back in my life.
You know what sucks, though? I saw Fozzy when they were on their first tour. And I really liked it. It was 2018. And I remember really liking it. And it was Jericho was on a break from wrestling in general. He wasn't...
Was that when he was doing Dancing with the Stars?
It was around that time. And I remember thinking that this was badass. And he looked great. He was in fantastic shape. This was like...
Yeah.
There was like Alpha and Omega shirts out, so we knew he was going to Wrestle Kingdom, but he hadn't done the match yet.
Yeah.
And it was fucking cool and a really good time. And everything I've seen since then, it's just not there, man.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it was just an in-the-moment thing or if he really put it all out there on the first tour the way he did, but yeah, it's really felt like, for one, they're still... I mean, Judas came out in like 2012 or some shit. Like he's been pushing that as a single forever and can't get that up the charts.
Oh my God. Well, you know what? It's over by some people, but you know, honestly, because this is going to be the first AEW event-ish that I will be at.
Yeah.
There will be one person not singing along.
It's gonna be you.
No, that's gonna be me.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, you're wrestling my boys, so you know.
Yeah.
You already don't have me there, but yeah, no. I'm trying to ask nicely. Like, can I manage you two? I really want to.
No.
Like Taz won't mind.
All I know is Jericho's had one song that I know of that was actually on like mainstream radio, like rock radio.
Yeah.
And it wasn't Judas.
No.
All right.
So
No.
I was just me being petty though. They were like, Adam Cole's #1 on the rock charts. I was like, great. Fozzie's like 17, and they're fucking really struggling down there.
I don't think they said it was the rock charts at first. They just said it was #1 on iTunes. Altogether.
But then
They said it was rock because I took note of that. I
Then
was like,
Punk
what the fuck?
Then Punk said, well, Adam Cole might be #1 in the rock thing. He says, but I don't know what the hell this is. Whatever you want to call this, when he was talking about the Elite's theme song.
Oh, yeah.
And
He
then
goes, we
he-
can all agree this is crap, right? Like, he fucking said it. He said he did not like it.
And then another part when he was like, well, you know, it's no cult of personality, but you know. Jesus
That's
Christ,
funny.
dude.
I do want to hit chat real quick because Grim Reaper.
Judas.
Grim Reaper did say in the chat, Damian Priest is awesome. He said the 3-way at the pay-per-view and his match on Raw was fire. I agree, but I was just talking about, like, I love Damian Priest, and I think he's been doing awesome and killing it. I love every match he's had with Sheamus, but there was a spot in that triple threat where he did a spinning heel kick, and, like, it was a very romantic moment between him and Sheamus. It was just so soft and delicate, and if you go back and look, it's on the outside of the ring, and it's just like Justin said. At the same time, Sheamus could have easily kissed him on the head and laid him down, and he would have gone straight to sleep. It was one of those kinds of moments.
And Sheamus did look darker. I swear to God, he did have a little
It's
bit
just
of
not
tan.
fucking true. I don't know what you
He
think
didn't look like
tan
he
looks
was
like.
ghost,
Yeah,
like see-through.
He did
As
look
a-
darker, Amanda. He still looked pale as a ghost.
Yeah, but not as pale. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying that he looks like Miz when Miz is orange tanner. No, I'm just saying, no, he looks a
You
little
don't
darker.
want to see Sheamus that tan. I swear.
That would be awful. That would be awful.
scary.
Yes.
Oh, and during this match, during Adam Cole and Jungle Boy, Excalibur made the comment, Jungle Boy on his tippy toes.
What?
He fucking said tippy toes. And I was like, how the fuck do people listen to this and have the fucking gall to say, well, at least the commentary doesn't talk down to me. They fucking said tippy toes.
Tippy toes.
You think he's? I've literally heard people say, well, the commentary in WWE talks to you like a child. In AEW, they don't. He said fucking tippy toes.
And I've not heard Wade Barrett say tippy toes.
Wade Barrett's never said tippy toes.
No. No.
You're
Beth
fucking
might.
kidding me.
But Beth might. I don't know. But no.
But
I think Corey Graves would shoot himself before he's.
I'm pretty sure someone on freaking AEW's commentary team said tummy one time, not
Yes.
stomach.
yeah, right in the
was like,
tummy.
"Jeez."
Yeah.
Yeah. Excalibur literally sounds like he's talking to babies. It's fucking insane.
Well,
And
you know,
CM Punk sounds like he's talking to people he thinks have the brain of a baby. It's ridiculous.
Commentary team.
That's what I mean. AEW is easier to stomach without commentary most of the time. And the only thing that saves it for me is every time JR chimes in with, like, get your head out of your ass, Excalibur. Those moments, those are the moments I live for.
well, have you heard Taz and Excalibur? Because that's some funny shit sometimes. Because I swear to God, both of them must be drunk behind the thing. Because some of the shit they say is hilarious. I only really like Taz and Excalibur together because it's hilarious.
I mean, I got you, but
Yeah.
Taz has disappointed me so bad. Because I used to listen to his podcast so regularly because he was so honest about how he would do things, what he thought of stuff. And all of a sudden, in one episode, you could hear it. Because he kept saying, like, well, I got nothing to prove to anybody. I'm not trying to get a job. And then all of a sudden, one day, he starts, he's it was the one I think with him and Conrad. Conrad tells him like, you got to see this Orange Cassidy guy. He's incredible. Taz watches it and he goes on there and he goes, yeah, no, I would have beat the shit out of that guy if he tried that in the ring with me. He goes, because what I do is simulate combat. And what this dude is being a clown. He goes, if someone tried to joke around with me with some soft kicks, I'd have clotheslined his head right off. And he goes, I'd have shot him right. He goes, I would have shot on him until he just gave up. He goes, I wouldn't fucking play that. And then all of a sudden, literally, he like goes to an AEW event. And after that, he's like, probably one of the greatest gimmicks in all of wrestling is Orange Cassidy. It's brilliant. He goes, the guy's really got it figured out. It's one of the most unique things I've ever seen.
Tony is paying the people.
Yep. So the whole thing just became, and every episode after that was about how WWE was fucking up everything, but AEW was the new ECW. And he kept talking about how it was amazing and how he can't wait to be backstage again. And the whole thing just became this like, you used to say things because it's how you felt, and now you're saying things because you're trying to get the job. And then all of a sudden he gets the job there and he goes, yeah, I'm going to hang up the podcast. And you're like, fuck, man.
Oh, Jesus.
It just bummed me out. I would do the same thing. If Tony offered me a shitload of money, I would turn this show around.
We'd have an episode 2.
Yeah, I'd have episode 2 immediately. Episode 1 would be done, and this would be an AEW show.
Fucking Marsh sold out to the almighty Tony Khan dollar.
Oh, yeah, and I would change my handle from Ref Marsh to Marsh Sellout, AEW. So people would know. I wouldn't try to hide it. I'd be real clear.
Yeah.
Does that mean the intro music would be freaking the Elite music?
Yeah. B Marsh. B Marsh.
Yeah, I would say Commission Buck to do a different song.
Yeah.
Papa Buck has that spirit of, like in the Karate Kid, that guy who did that.
Yeah.
That's the spirit of Papa Buck. That fucking
my
God.
God.
I don't know why. I just have to say that. But now my question is this. If back in the day, I wonder how Arn feels. Would he feel the same way about Orange's gimmick? We just pull his Glock out and bang, bang,
He would Glock the shit out of Orange Cassidy.
Yeah, I'm curious.
Pistol whips him?
Yeah, pistol whip him. Grim Reaper in the chat does say, Adam Cole will be successful no matter what he does or where he goes. I like his new theme / the same guy from all his other songs is on it. Really? He gets the same guy to do all of his songs? That's cool. Although I've never liked many of his songs. I did like the one in NXT all right, but I don't like Adam Cole. I'm just not a fan of his wrestling, his styles. His promos are like believable, but he looks like a kid, and I'm just not a fan of his. And I think that's fine. I don't think he needs me as a fan. I don't feel self-important. I don't feel better than anyone because I'm not a fan. He just doesn't click with me, man. But other people love it, and that's cool. His finishing maneuver is a teabag, though. You guys have all realized that, right?
Yeah.
He does a flying knee, but he misses the knee every time and just teabags the guy in the back of the head. So he's just basically like a ball slap to the back of the head.
And now renamed Boom.
And now it's the boom kick?
It's just called the Boom now.
The boom? That's so stupid. Last shot was better. At least it was closer to like a money shot kind of joke. And he's hitting you with his balls. The dude's got to have balls like Hogan, because Hogan's leg drop was all about the balls.
Wow.
Yeah. So Adam Cole's got to have some titanium testicles if he's like slapjawing people in the back of the head with his nuts and they're out.
Hogan's leg drop was all about the balls.
Ask his old lady.
Yeah. That's a fact. You didn't know that, Justin? That's why I knocked everyone out.
What you gonna do, brother, with these 24 pythons and these massive testicles?
Go flying on you, Jack. And Grim Reaper does say solar plexus is greater than tummy. Yeah, 100%. Gorilla Monsoon can tell me solar plexus all the time, and I'm into it. But you say tummy and tippy toes? Get the fuck out of here.
I love that thing about what Kev said last night about the fucking solar plexus.
Yeah. But all right, so that happened. It was a decent match. It was good. It was all good. Omega, so the Elite comes out and cuts a fucking promo. Justin, I want to know what you because me and Amanda already said a few things. Justin, I want to know what you think about the Elite as a promo.
The Elite to me is just, it doesn't matter what they're doing anymore. Talking, mostly wrestling. It's just gone. completely downhill. It's so fucking annoying.
It's embarrassing to me to watch them all talk the way they talk.
Especially Carl Anderson. My God. It's not a party without the Impact Tag Team Champions. Yeah, well, what the fuck are you still doing with the Impact Tag Team titles anyway? You ain't doing jack shit with them.
Yeah, when was the last time anybody talked about those championships? Like, no one fucking knows what you're talking about.
Never.
When Impact shows big fucking GIFs and clips of things happening, it's Heath Slater coming back. It's not fucking Impact champion, tag champion, anything. Like, I don't get it. Yeah. I just felt like their promos are embarrassing at this point. Then Daniel Bryan comes out and he cuts like a genuine promo. I love how Daniel Bryan's constantly trying to sell a white t-shirt. Someone did post. Yeah, someone posted a really good image of like the AEW shop, and it was all like new Daniel Bryan merch, and it was a plain white shirt, and it was like $30. And I mean, it's not real, but it made me laugh because it always comes out in just a plain white T-shirt, and you're like, I wonder. Remember, Daniel Bryan didn't start wearing his own shirts in WWE until they made his shirt specifically out of recycled materials. You remember that? The Yes shirt and the ones after it, all when he became Planet's champion, all of them were made out of recycled stuff. Do you think he won't wear those shirts that they have for AEW shop because it's just shitty T-shirts?
Well, you should talk to Colt Cabana about that one. Because Colt Cabana, maybe I can get an extra dollar out of it because it's going to be a little bit more expensive.
Yeah. You probably pop another $5 on it. They pop like an extra $3 just to make it a women's fit. You know what I mean? Like,
no, I like the soft style ones, so I'm always I'll pay the $4 or whatever.
Yeah, they're good. I mean, they're definitely good when you get the soft style and all that. Yeah, 100%. I'm not disagreeing with any of that. But maybe one of those little wheels should be recycled material shit. I wonder if that's why he's just not pushing it. Because it reminds me of the Mike Mansouri told a story of how he was producing John Cena when he was doing something for like ESPN or SportsCenter or something like that. And he said their producer got into Mansouri's ear and said, hey, tell John Cena to take his hat off. And Mike gets in Cena's ear because they're all patched in that way, right? And he said that, hey, John, their producer's saying they need you to take the hat off. It's making the light on your eyes kind of dark. And he said John Cena was looking down. He said he looked up, looked straight into the camera, smiles, and goes, he's like, you tell them we're not selling haircuts. And then he just adjusted his hat a little bit. And I was like, fuck, imagine John Cena.
Just imagine if Cena. Well, sir, those Echo jorts aren't riding right. You need to pull it up a little bit on the right side.
We're not selling butt crack.
We're not selling butt crack. Crack is whack, yo.
Yeah, 100%. Mm-hmm. But I don't know. They got the crowd chanting "No balls," Kenny "No balls."
Childish.
Just a little childish. Made me smirk. The crowd is child. I'm telling you, the crowd is adolescent. Every time that shit happens and they say, "See, it's for adults," I go, "No. It's for teenagers. There's a difference. Teenagers are not adults." Matter of fact, that's why that whole fucking mess happened to begin with, because the wrestling fans and wrestlers have not distinguished that teenagers are not adults.
Yeah.
Is that too far?
Remember, people live in their basements. They live in their mom's basements. You got to remember that.
That's a good point. But yeah, no, teenagers are not adults, and people. I mean, I'll still laugh at Beavis and Butthead, but I don't say this is great adult television. You know what I mean? Like when a clip. You think Beavis and Butthead is adult television?
Yes.
What?
Well, back in the day, it was very campy. Ren and Stimpy. That's not a children's cartoon. Those cartoons weren't for kids.
No, they weren't for kids, but they weren't for adults either. You know, there's a difference, right?
They're for adults who are like stoners or drunk. Yeah.
Tell Nickelodeon that. They're the ones that used to show it.
Yeah.
Well, Nickelodeon's not in on the gag.
To be honest. Yeah.
There's a difference between adult and child. That's not the distinction. There's different levels of age.
Yeah.
The distinction isn't you go from child to adult and that's it. There's a certain level of adulthood where Beavis and Butthead isn't what you're seeking out because it's toilet humor in and of itself.
There's nothing wrong with toilet humor.
No, there's nothing wrong with it, but it's not adult humor.
Yeah. Well, I think it is.
It's adolescent humor, which is also fine because when I was like 16, 17, 18, it was the greatest shit I ever saw in my life. It's hysterical because it wasn't kid stuff. So it was like your first introduction to not kid is actually literally offensive. So you have people who are old, it's like, oh, old people don't get it. You don't get it, old man. And it's like a 30-year-old who goes, yeah, I don't find it funny every time somebody farts, which I don't get because it's still funny.
30-year-old. Okay, there is a 42-year-old wrestler who wrestles on A&E.
Yeah.
At AEW. If you were to tell him some kind of jokes about farts or balls, he'll laugh.
Yeah, because farts are funny. But I'm saying
that that's the mentality of a child. You still have it no matter what age. I'm saying.
Yes. But not being geared towards children does not mean that you're necessarily geared towards adults. You can also be geared towards adolescents in and of itself. And when you say, hey, we popped a bird, you're on your tippy toes, he got hit in the tummy, this guy's got no balls, let's chant no balls, I don't think to myself, they're looking for the 30, 40-year-old demographic here. They're looking for teenagers, which is probably fine.
But teenagers are different.
And people who are immature.
That's probably 50% of their audience.
Yes, easily.
Yeah, easily.
100%. But there's also a distinction to be made there. If you have a mature adult, they're not going to find it as entertaining as an immature adult and somebody who's actually properly mature for 16. You know what I mean?
Properly mature. Well, when you were 16, were you like properly mature?
For 16, yeah.
What? Lies.
A 16-year-old maturity level is not that mature, Amanda.
Well, it depends. I don't know. I grew up in a different age. So back in the Stone Age, when I was 16.
We had 2 jobs and I shoveled coal.
I did not do that, no. I was in the mall. People will say, what's a mall? Oh, God. Yeah, children of today.
But that segment happened and it was fine. And Andrade cut a backstage segment.
Do you talk about balls? I'm just kidding.
Talk about balls.
Lord.
Bishop says this is why 18 through 49 is not a real demo. You're right. And to be honest, AEW keeps changing it. It was 18 to 54 was the coveted demo. Then it became 18 to 49. And then now it's like 18 to 35 because they're trying to shrink that demo to show that that's their demo. They're trying to say whatever demo they have is the most important. And yeah, that 18 to 35 is the no balls, tippy toe, tummy demographic.
Well, you know, Tony's other demographic that he should be going after is he needs to go after the female demographic of, I'd say, 25 to 48. Yeah. A lot of money can be spent with those ladies. The cougar kind of age. I'm just saying.
But they're not going to be all that into Anna Jay. Well, I mean, maybe they'll be into... I mean, they're in the Hook, right?
Hey,
that's the ones who like Hook.
You know, Hook, that's like, I can't like Hook because to me, Hook, that's like being a pedophile. Okay? No, can't do that. No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, not allowed.
No. Not allowed. Not allowed. Okay? Even though I think he's legal, does not matter. Nope.
No, he's an investment. You wait on that.
No. But other things like, you know, I don't know, other people, fair game.
No.
You know? Just watch my hands. That's all.
What do you guys think about Andrade and his promo?
Honestly, I don't think anything of Andrade, to be quite honest.
Yeah,
it's like he's never done anything for me to be all, what the fuck was all this bitching about? You know? Because you know me, I did not watch the product. So I just don't get it.
Yeah, I didn't particularly like it or care much of it, and
yeah,
I thought it was kind of, I don't know. I didn't love that it was subtitled when he's still speaking English. When he had a guy sitting next to him the whole time who speaks fluent English.
Yeah, all I kept saying was just can we stop Andrade talking at this point?
Yes.
He has people to talk for him for a reason.
Yes.
Yeah. Just wasn't into it. Let's see. We had Cody Rhodes. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, speaking of people who talk for people, shout out to Alex. What is his last name? Abrahantes?
Yeah.
Yeah. He's on QVC. Oh my God. I saw him the other day. Just thought I'd let y'all know. I was like, what? And he had the tag belts in the set.
That's so funny.
I like him.
I'm like, I like this guy. I'm going to spot something that hour just because.
That's funny.
Yeah. Hey, I shop on QVC. No shame in my game.
That's awesome. Cody Rhodes and Lee Johnson win over Dante Martin and Matt Sydal, and then Arn Anderson says the difference between you and me, Cody, is I'll shoot a motherfucker in the face for no goddamn reason and murder him and look at the brains all on the ground. And Cody said, yeah, we are different. And then Arn said, fuck you, you piece of shit little loser. Come with me, Lee. And Lee's all like, I'm afraid not to. And they walked off.
Yeah. That guy's more gangster than like fucking I don't know, Ice-T. Ice-T was a real gangster. Okay.
Arn Anderson has immediately become more terrifying and credible than Eddie Kingston has at any point in time.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
You just saw somebody who took an old NWA album cover and just put Arn Anderson on it, and it was fucking hysterical.
That's so good. Bishop's in the chat. He says, has Andrade been wasted in AEW like he was in WWE yet? Yeah, he's in the same exact spot. There's no difference between what he's doing here and what he was doing there.
Yeah.
It's same exact Andrade, same promos, same matches, same slot in the card. Like, he just shifted over. That's all.
Yeah.
What do you say, Justin?
I said he pretty much left WWE to be in the same spot.
Yeah, it was a lateral move for sure.
No. If he really wanted to make a splash, he should have gone to ROH because you have Roosh there, Dragon Lee, all those guys. That's where he should have gone.
He should have went to Impact because they need some fucking people.
Well, yeah, but it's Impact.
Impact's crowds are cold. I was watching a clip. Heath Slater made his big return tonight, and the crowd was just kind of like, "Yay!" It was fucking sad.
That's the one reason why I don't watch them.
Yeah.
Because if the crowd can't even tell me that I should be excited to watch it, to watch this, why should I watch it?
Mm-hmm. Good reason.
Yeah. I mean, that's 100% it. The crowd was so cold, I felt bad.
Yeah.
I was like, fuck, like, you're one of like 30 people in that room, man. Have a little fucking excitement. Like, the fuck?
Oh my God.
I've seen it louder at VFWs with 12 people. You know what I mean? Like, fuck.
Yeah, I literally sat down and watched the show. I think it was a couple weeks ago because I was like, fuck, there's nothing on. And I was waiting for you guys to go live. And I'm just sitting there watching the show. And I think I made it through about maybe 2 matches. And then I got to like TJP and Petey Williams. And all you heard was like 3 guys chanting for TJ, 2 guys chanting for freaking Petey, and the rest are just sitting there on their hands and just standing there. And I'm like, this is why I don't like the show. I'm like, how do you get excited to watch? How do people get excited to watch this? Like,
no, they don't.
Yeah.
It feels like a pandemic show, and they have people in the fucking crowd. It feels like a pandemic show.
You could count how many people were clapping when Heath Slater came out. You could easily count it. You go, one person on the left side, looks like somebody in the back. Like, it was sad because I was actually, when I saw the clip pop, I was like, oh shit, Heath Slater's back. I love that dude. I popped open the clip and watched it, and I was like, why is the crowd flat? Yeah. It's a bummer.
I will say this, as someone who's very loud in a crowd.
That's you, yeah.
Yeah, that's me. You know, it really sometimes sets the tone, you know? Like, I watched All In again the other day because someone put the whole All In on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
And because I don't have an Honor Club anymore, so I don't have it. But I was watching it, and I was watching the match with Okada and Marty. I'm like, God, I'm fucking loud. I mean, yeah, I'm in the front row, but I am fucking loud. I'm like, God damn. I mean, I was very energetic because apparently in the Kenny documentary, there's 2 different parts of me. in the crowd, just like cheering and totally fucking excited. Yeah, I have gifs of it. People had to make them and send them to me. I was like, what the fuck is this? They go, you were on Kenny's documentary twice. How excited you are as a fan, the passion. I go, that's probably not for Kenny. That's probably fucking Marty's match. It's like, but you know, I'm like, whatever. But it really does make a difference when the crowd is really like excited and when they're not. And I think that like if you have 30 people, because it makes me think of almost like NWA and the NWA tapings. I mean, if you had, there were what, Marsh, what, 70 people maybe? 50? Yeah. You had that, and there's like dead silence, or they're not that, you know, into it. It's just kind of weird, you know? Yeah. I mean, put fake crowd noise in, you know?
Yeah, you don't need a lot of people. You just need loud people. Like, you just need excited people. You could have a dozen people. If they're all into it, it sounds great.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
I think it's because, like, for Impact, I think it's because they're in the same place for so much, and that's why there's probably the same fucking people that go there every time.
That's NXT.
Yeah, but at least they have some fucking noise to them now.
Yeah. Well, they didn't before because they had people who wanted to get themselves over.
No, for sure.
Yeah.
Let's see. There was Moxley, Eddie, Darby. That match was, I mean, it looks like a lot of this stuff's kind of like the same stuff we were talking about anyways. I mean, this match was fine. I didn't have an issue with it necessarily.
I'm getting bored. It's the same, almost the same thing every stupid week. We get a Moxley, you know, Kingston match, and then we get this one and this one match, and we already saw it on each platform.
I don't like Moxley and Kingston as a tag team at all.
No.
Yeah,
I think it's a waste.
Yeah.
I think that they're too similar in characters for them to actually work together. Because I think that it makes them kind of blend in and become a little bit more staticky.
Well,
and I think the whole thing is to try to bring, like, to try and show a toughness to Eddie and make him believable again. But I'll be honest with you, like, I don't believe it's jack shit that he says anymore. Ever since he passed out, and then he fucking, every match he has, he fucking looks like a schlub, and they were no-selling a bunch of his shit, and I was like, God, man, Eddie's just a fucking jobber. Like, it sucks.
Yeah. You know, I'd like to see him maybe with Santana Ortiz if the inner circle kind of breaks up a little bit. That might be pretty good, you know, all the Puerto Ricans together. But, you know, I don't know. I just watch this shit. Yeah.
Maybe something with Homicide will be good. He was a good tag team with Homicide back in the day.
Always.
So
even to this day, always.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah.
Let's see. I didn't care about the video package from Baker and Ruby Soho much.
No.
The Hardy Brothers or Hardy Family Office thing I didn't give a shit about. Orange Cassidy Dark Order. That whole match was just a fucking mess.
That was a clusterfuck.
The Orange Cassidy Hardy Family shit is like the Rollins Mysterio thing. It just seems like it never ends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm gonna kind of read through it. Stop me if there's something you guys wanted to talk about. Leo Rush is back.
Yes, let's talk about Leo Rush. Okay.
All right.
I think it's funny to me that everyone's like, God, didn't he retire? I go, yeah, he's retired like 4 or 5 times. But, you know, the thing is, I think it's because he starts to lose his passion for it. So he'll try to do something else. So now I think he's getting back into it because he's been doing New Japan for a while. So I don't know why people are, oh, he's coming back. No, he's been doing New Japan for a couple of months now. So I think that he's like, maybe this is going to be a place where they might kind of understand what I'm trying to do and go with it, you know? So that I'm excited to see him back because I've always enjoyed watching Leo Rush. But he's probably going to retire another 10 times. So people don't get all, he retired. Why is he back?
So he's Terry Funk.
Yeah. Pretty much.
Yeah, but he's not 50 years old with 2 broken knees.
No, he's like, what, 23, has 3 children or something like that? I don't know.
I get the impression, and then I'll ask Justin what he thinks. I just get the impression that he, like, has this big emotional detachment where he tries to make a whole show of him retiring and make it a big deal and get everyone to focus on him. And then he announces some song he's putting out. He doesn't get the reception he's expecting because just because people are a fan of your wrestling doesn't mean they give a shit about your music or your candles or whatever else you're putting out there. I just think that too many wrestlers think that their fan base is a fan of everything that they do, and that's just not the case. Like, I might love you as a wrestler, but I might have no reason to purchase your beauty products or to take a fitness course from you or to listen to your music. Like, it's not to say you don't appreciate the human and want the human to be successful, but I also don't have the kind of money you have where I can just buy shit to support my friends for no reason. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, I mean, as Bishop, I didn't buy his shirt the second he dropped it. I had to wait a bit. You know what I mean? Like, there's no... Those are cheap and affordable, and you got a 25% off discount code if you go to Dive Bar or go to twtakespodcast.com/TWTs and put in the promo code Dive Bar. You get it fucking cheap. But we as regular people don't, and they're nice, they're comfy. Mm-hmm. We just don't have the kind of money where it's just all like, oh, my friend's starting a business, I'll buy their thing. It just doesn't always work that way. You know what I mean? And so for all these wrestlers who we like the product you're putting out, your wrestling, your promos, those experiences, your t-shirts maybe, just because you're doing something else doesn't mean we have the disposable income to just support this other company you have now. And it's not a knock on you. It's not that we don't want you to be successful. We just kind of have to pick and choose, man. And so I think that Lio Rush just doesn't get the response he wants from music and then goes, well, shit, I thought all my wrestling fans were going to buy all my music, and they don't. And so then he just comes back.
Well, you know what it is I think
that's true. I don't even buy WWE shirts unless they're on clearance, and on like when they do clearance on clearance. When you do the 30% off already shit on clearance, that's when I hit it.
There you go.
Yeah, and then we call our friends who all wants to put in an order. I don't want to spend for shipping twice. I'd like to save the $6 if I can.
There you go.
You know what I mean?
Let me know when Cameron Grimes has stuff on the clearance.
Oh shit! No, I think the brown To the Moon is on clearance right now. Now that you mention it.
Shut the front door.
Yeah, but not the money one, because the money dollar one I know is one you liked a lot. But the one where it's his silhouette says To the Moon.
I like that. Yeah, I'll rock that because it's not
it's a good one.
But I think with Lio Rush and the music, he saw what Swerve did, and Swerve, when he was working with Montez Moore, they actually had some good shit, and it was well received by not just the wrestling community, but like the hip hop community. And we all know that a lot of the hip hop community does like wrestling. So, and I think that Leo didn't get that same kind of reception. So that's why he floats back and forth with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've always thought that.
Maybe. Justin, what do you think about Leo being back?
I mean, I like Lio Rush. I think he's an awesome wrestler. I honestly have listened to his music. I like his music. It's just, I don't even think he knows what one he wants to do. Like, it feels like you said, he loses his passion to wrestle, so then he falls to the music. But then nobody pays attention to the music, so he goes back to the wrestling. And it's just trying to get attention on himself, and that's it.
Yeah, and his whole New Japan thing was shows that he already had contracted and said he was going to finish out those dates and then be done with it. The thing is this, more power to you. Do what makes you happy. If it's music, if it's wrestling, whatever that is, whatever your passion is, roll with it. Me as a fan, though, there's a certain point where I see someone come and go so many times, I just detach from my personal fandom, where it's just like, well, I just don't trust you to be there for me. I don't want to be the dude who buys the t-shirt of the guy who wrestled for 3 months, and then now I have this fucking $30 shirt I had, you know what I mean, where the person never, like, yeah, or like, fucking, I mean, the Hurt Business back together, but I know a dude who bought a Hurt Business shirt the same weekend that they broke it up. Look at fucking Bishop. He just bought his Lily doll 3 days before Extreme Rules. And then Extreme Rules, they rip it in half and say, that's never coming back. And he's like, well, fuck.
That's a good example there, too.
You know what I mean? Like, if you come and go all the time, like, look at Y2 or Y2AJ. They were a tag team for such a short period of time that they broke up before the t-shirt came out. So anybody who's got that Y2AJ shirt has a shirt from a tag team that was together for a month. And I just don't want a fucking collection of t-shirts people who come and go all the time. At least Alexa will come back.
Yeah. Or you don't want a collection of t-shirts of people that you really can't wear because you're going to get ridiculed. But I digress.
Yeah, well, there's that too. Now, the other thing, a little off topic, but I was just curious. I mean, like, welcome back, Leo Rush. He always has good matches. I just won't seek him out. When they come on, I'll say, okay, this is cool, but I'm just, it is what it is. 30 minutes ago, Jeremy brought attention to it in the chat, so I looked it up to make sure that he wasn't full of shit, because I don't trust Jeremy in time. Everyone knows he can't be trusted.
Wow. He'll move, man. He'll move.
Dude, Justin didn't even support you, Jeremy. You just think about that. He didn't come to your defense at all.
Wow.
Tony Storm Instagrammed out a series of 3 pictures. Says, pop the champagne, I'm changing my last name. Pictures of a ring and a Juice Robinson on his knee. Tony Storm and Juice Robinson got engaged.
Oh,
Yay,
yay!
Juice and Tony.
The juice
Yeah.
is not on the loose anymore.
Yeah, Juice is no longer on the loose.
Good
Fucking
for
awesome.
them. Oh my
Yeah.
god.
Fantastic.
Congratulations.
those
Cheers to Tony Robinson, as it will be. Or do you think she's going to take Tony Juice?
That's awful.
Oh. Grim Reaper's in the chat. He says the Y2AJ shirt was only good for a week, actually. Jericho loves manipulating merch. Yeah.
Oof.
No, it's all good.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're engaged now, so that's all good.
Yay.
Congratulations. Always like to see that.
Yay.
Let's see.
That's so awesome.
FTR and Tully did a promo, which was fine.
Mhm.
Dan Lambert did another promo thing, which was fine. Scorpio Sky. Oh, this is where Scorpio Sky said that I got the fucking Sonic the Hedgehog
Sonic ring. Yeah.
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 Then there was a promo package of Sheeta talking about Serena Deeb.
Oh, that'll be a good match.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hope that's good. I hope that's as good as it's expected to be. Anna Jay and Tay
Serena's-
Conti defeated Penelope Ford and the Bunny, which is a sloppy, weird match, but
But now Serena is, I think, at 100%. So
Yeah.
it should be great.
Fantastic then.
Yeah.
I just think she does a little. I think she's one that people are pretty forgiving of. She can put on great matches, but it's not always. So I just hope she's on that night. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But it's also depends on who she's wrestling. That's a huge
Yes.
part with Sheeta.
I do think that makes a difference. Yes. Let's see. They announced Jade Cargill, Thunder Rosa, and Nyla Rose for Rampage. MJF came out with Wardlow and cut a pretty generic heel promo. Darby Allin comes out, and it continues to be generic in my mind. Does it stand out at all to you?
No.
It's another MJF
Like-
promo.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
boring. It's getting old.
That's what I mean. I feel like he's generic wrestler heel.
Yeah.
And I don't feel like that it comes off like authentically asshole-ish at all.
No.
It comes off as like really scripted. Hey, I'm gonna say this. Is that cool? Yeah, very theatrical.
Me, I'm crossing the line thing, and that's it.
Yeah, I'll say this thing to cross the line. It'll be a big reaction. But it doesn't. But it sounds like, you know what I mean. It just sounds super acty.
Yeah. Oh, yeah,
Acting.
no.
Or like when Roman said the line to Cena, "Don't you understand, Cena? When I whoop someone, I whoop them so bad the company doesn't have a use for them anymore."
Yeah.
On the heels of Daniel Bryan being announced of leaving WWE, he says this, and it had that air of like, fuck, what a dick thing to say. But MJF comes out and he's all like, oh, I hate this town is stupid. Hey, Darby, the story we all know about your uncle dying because he was drunk driving, it should have been you, is fucking campy, shitty playground. What can you say to hurt this guy's feelings without actually saying anything of substance? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it came out very acty. That's what I mean. I'm getting pretty bored with MJF, is what I'm saying.
Yeah. Me too.
Who is it? Stove Haas? Stovehouse, probably. Haas? 312. That's probably the noise. Cheers to them. Cheers to the stove,
Woo!
as it were.
Yay, stove.
Unless you have anything else to add on that, we'll keep going.
No. He needs time off of TV. We don't need
Yeah.
it every week, you know.
Especially because it never
Every
goes
week.
anywhere, man. Are we really going to an MJF
No.
Darby promo or pack? Like, I feel like we've already had them, but if we haven't, I guess. And MJF wrestles like 4 times a year. He's like Brock Lesnar.
Yeah. And he's not that good.
No, he's not impressive. He's good, but he's not like, you don't walk away just going like, God damn, what a match. You know what I mean? Just go, oh, wrestling match. He just comes off super generic to me, man.
Yeah.
Then we had the main event, Sammy Guevara beating Miro for the TNT title. You guys tell me what you thought about it. I'll start with Justin. What do you think, Justin?
I'm happy for Sammy. That's for damn sure. As much as we said Miro's title reign felt very short, but happy Sammy got a title finally. No, it wasn't the cleanest. It wasn't the cleanest match either, but
Yeah, see, I felt like it was super clunky, and I felt the whole finish was just like weird and awkward and didn't make sense, and they weren't connecting even, and all of a sudden Sammy won, and I go, oh, okay.
I mean, Miro ripped the top turnbuckle off, and literally Sammy shoved him into the top turnbuckle, and the referee did nothing.
Yeah, and he ripped off all of the turnbuckles.
Yes.
All right, Amanda, what'd you think of it?
Well, 2 points of it. One, most people know that I don't like Sammy, but I was actually really happy for the kid that got a title. So yay him. But I definitely agree, and this is one of the reasons why I'm not a Sammy Guevara fan, because it's very clunky. It's never 100% smooth. There's always a lot of rough edges to it. And especially because it's like you're doing all these 630s, and other people can do 630s, but theirs are clean. And his kind of sometimes it's hard to watch some of that because I'm like, oh, I don't know if it's because he's young and the inexperience, or it's not that great. He's to work on it, but I don't know. So that's what I found. It was very, very clunky. And, Miro's a big dude, so when you have bigger guys like that and you're wrestling some little shrimpo who does all this flips and shits and whatever's, yeah, it's kind of hard and it's going to look clunky. So that's where I got the clunkiness from. But also the fact that Sammy, he's not as good in this kind of style because it already sometimes is like, oh, questionable.
There was a number of moves he did where I thought he was about to break his own neck.
Yeah, that's almost everything he does, to be honest.
A bunch of times he flips and stuff. I go, fuck Christ. Looks like he what, Justin?
It looks like he rushes.
Yes.
Too much to do everything. It looks like it's got to be like back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And it's like, just slow the fuck down. Like 630 was awful because he freaking aimed directly at Miro's like crotch area.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. I was like,
just
is that a spot? Okay.
He needs to learn, if he wants to be a high flyer, just at least don't be constantly freaking flying all over the place. Slow it down a little bit.
Yeah. There's very few people who could fly all over the place like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, I mean, he's the champion now, and a lot of people are super excited about it, and I don't know, I'm just not that invested in Sammy Guevara.
No, but
I mean, I'm not... I mean, in all fairness, I'm not super invested in most of the show, and this is the first time I watched in 6 months, but it was a whole lot of oh, they're still kind of doing this. It feels like you can absolutely miss large chunks of it and be fine.
Yeah. Well, you know what I'm hoping is I'm hoping to see if Fuego del Sol turn, and he takes it off of Sammy. Even if it's just for a week.
Oh, why?
Just because it'd be hilarious.
But everybody loves Fuego. I don't think they can boo him.
I know, but they'd still love the fact that he got the belt. You know?
But he's also never won a match, right? Fuego's never won a single match.
No, he's won a match.
I'd say he won one, I think, right?
One or two.
Because he was 0-54 when he got signed.
He's won one since, at least. Yeah. I don't know.
And he's also from Alabama. He's not actually a luchador.
He's from Alabama?
Yeah, you didn't know that?
No.
He's just a white dude from Alabama. So.
Yeah.
I
And
don't
he's not
pay
even, like,
attention to
being-
a lot of dark stuff, so I don't know like a lot of people that are on there.
Oh. When he's not like ironically luchador like Sammy was, which was hysterical. El Generico being the generic luchador and him saying Ole was like ironic. Fuego's like trying to play it off.
I miss El Generico. I hope him and the kids are doing well in Tijuana.
Yeah. They're doing well in Tijuana. Well, let's talk NXT.
NXT.
NXT. Yo,
can't
I'm
join
loving the feel of 2.0.
I am not.
Wow.
So it opened up with Hit Row. Hit Row. Hit Row. Hit Row. And so their promo style is really unique, which goes back and forth between me being frustrated with it and loving it. Because they're talking in rhymes because they're a rap group. So there's part of me that goes, that is pretty clever. It's pretty good. But there's another part of me that goes, well, clearly it's scripted because you're probably not rhyming like that, even in the sense of, I mean, even in the sense of like freestyling or even those rap battles. Like those are good and fast paced and all that. But you're really trying to get out very specific information on each of these. And they're rhyming on top of each other. And it's feasible that they could be doing it naturally, but it's really hard to believe. So I go back and forth where I go, well, it's clever, it's unique, they're doing a good job with it, and then also being like, well, this could have been a video segment. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
In their defense, Swerve said in the After the Bell podcast that they do all their own writing for their own stuff. They get like approval and stuff, but all their own stuff is in their own voice because they're the ones doing it, because there's no one there who could write in their voice reasonably, and that's one of their things. Like, they talk like that because that's how they talk. I mean, the rhyming is a little bit more them being meta, I think, but it is them, and so I appreciate that too, you know? It's not like a couple of white dudes writing rhymes and telling them to go out there and do it, you know what I mean? So I appreciate that. Well, not like Tony Khan rapping. You guys saw that, right?
That was awful.
God, let's not freaking think about that.
Yeah, please no.
What show was that on? Because I saw the clip, but I don't remember seeing it on Dynamite, and I feel like I would have noticed it. Was that on Dark?
I think it was on. Was it on Rampage?
It was. I thought it was on at the Arthur Ashe thing.
It
No,
was.
Was it on? Like, was it on Rampage though? I thought.
Maybe, but part of me thinks of, oh, it was on Dynamite, but it probably was Rampage.
It was just.
My
Stupid.
name is Tony Khan, and I'm here to say.
Oh God, it was awful.
You're gonna face him in 9 days. 9 days.
You're gonna be facing them in 9 days. 9 days.
Oh God, I thought we were over that.
My name is Tony Khan, and I'm here to say 9 days. 9 days. You're gonna face them in 9 days.
Man, let me tell you this: if you had gone or were going on the Jericho cruise, if you did not cosplay as Tony Khan, because there's a day that you could dress up or whatever, or wear old wrestling shirts, you were doing a disservice to the world.
Oh my God.
So good.
I would love to see that.
That would be the best. He gets like some cracked out like afro type of wig, and
Yeah, I'm gonna have to do a whole bunch of Adderall.
yeah.
My God.
Jacksonville Jaguars jacket. I probably could borrow it from one of my friends.
Oh,
The Jags.
you're so gross.
Oh my Lord.
Pair of shitty high tops.
Yep.
Bishop's in the chat says they were so off with the rhymes, I fucking hated it. I don't know, man. I'm white. I don't catch the details and stuff like that.
Yeah. Maybe that's how they roll in Delaware.
Yeah, in Delaware they go deep.
Yeah,
roll
they
real
think
deep with.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he
They're
lived
like-
in New York for like. I mean, he never got a driver's license there, so.
Aw.
What? What? I'm just. What do you? What? No, he's starting it. He's the one who started. What do they say? Beef.
I thought he was going to say he's the one who started it. He's the one who went to Delaware.
Yeah, he started it by moving to Delaware. He knew what he was getting himself into. If he didn't want this, he just stayed out of Delaware. Now he got Delaware heat.
Well, you know.
Am I like the only one New York proper right now?
Oh yeah, you're
Yep.
New York proper.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Well, I'm saying this is okay. You know, besides Compton, I definitely think that Delaware probably has a place just like Compton, and it's probably the number
probably
2 most dangerous place in America.
I actually would
You
believe
really
that.
do?
If someone told me the most dangerous city in the whole country was in Delaware, I'd 100%
I'd
believe it.
Yeah, because they probably have like meth and crack houses.
Yeah.
And
There's
white
shit to
collar
do
crime.
there, but ruin other people's lives.
Yeah,
You know?
exactly.
What does Delaware have right now? Well, it's got one of the most dangerous places right now.
Yeah. You've been to Delaware, boy. You know, you gotta roll up all the windows, lock the doors,
Yeah.
Hide your kids, hide your wife.
kids,
Uh.
hide the wife.
Bishop says Amanda knows Oakland is Delaware. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, actually,
So
Oakland is more gentrified probably at this point in time than Delaware, I
Oh.
believe. Yeah,
could be.
could be. Yeah.
But it did open up with that, and it led into the BFAB versus the Elektra Lopez Extreme Rules match.
Yeah.
Which was ironic because Extreme Rules had one Extreme Rules match, and every show since then has had several. But here we are. And Bishop says Delaware has one of the dopest wrestling podcasts. Oh, you should let us know what it is. Send us a link.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
So the match was decent. I remember we talked about it briefly earlier, so we don't have to go into detail here. Like you said, Justin, I didn't think this was some sort of 5-star extravaganza that everyone's got to go back and watch. But after watching the women's wrestling on AEW, I felt yeah, even the bad wrestling women, the women who aren't, the new women there who are still really figuring it out, is still so much cleaner and better and tighter than the stuff I was just seeing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I know. They got Serena Deeb. And they got Thunder Rosa. So it's they have people who train. They literally are trainers. And they're still and Dustin Rhodes. If he's got such a hand in all their training, what the fuck is going on? He's genius. I have a hard time believing that they don't have the utilities there. I just have a hard time believing people are applying themselves the way that they could, the way that people do in NXT. That's all I'm saying. This match was fine. It was what it was. There was a couple bumps in here that were fucking crazy. That cross-body dive thing into the open chair. I was fuck, that looked gnarly. But it was cool. What'd you think about it, Justin?
Like I said, it wasn't. I didn't really like it that much, but again, I liked it a lot better than I liked what happened. The match we saw in AEW. It was just, again, it's just BFAB and even Elektra just need a little more work. They need more work.
Yeah.
BFAB still looks like she needs a lot of work, and Elektra we've only seen twice, because even before she joined Legado del Fantasma, I think she wrestled once, and it was a jobber match where she jobbed out, and I think it was to Frankie. So we haven't
it was
really seen
Frankie.
her at all. Yeah, so we haven't seen her for shit really until now, and now all of a sudden it's oh, we're getting the focus on her, but that's really it. She still needs some work too.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. Amanda, what'd you think of it?
I don't know. Part of me when I watch 2.0 now, I don't know. There's just something about it. But it's nice that they're, pushing these new people. But I think there's still some people that need a little bit more time before we're putting them on TV. This one, it could have waited maybe a couple of weeks. You know what I mean?
Sure. And I think this is where the mentality starts to really differ, and what me and Justin were talking about right before you popped in today.
Mm-hmm.
There is and I know you caught the tail end of it, but there is such a divide, I think, between this is on national TV and this is a developmental program, that I think it's hard for both sides to grasp the other side, right? Because I firmly fall into the idea of this is developmental. It doesn't have to always be ready for prime time, right? I think of this as such a lesser, like this feels to me, and this may be for the worse. I'm not saying this is right, but this feels to me a lot more like what we would see on the WWE network, where you would tune in and be like, oh yeah, they're not ready to be on TV, but they're doing a good job and they're getting better. It just so happens that their platform for doing that happens to be on national TV now. So I think that it does create this weird divide and concept where I go, well, yeah, it shouldn't all be perfect because they're not ready for TV. But here they are on TV, so maybe they should be ready for TV. Or maybe they're on the cusp. Like you said, it could have waited 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what they were trying to find out. Are they ready now, or are they 2 weeks from being ready? Maybe we don't see another match from them for another 3 weeks. You know what I mean? Like, give them the chance to show what they got. And if you go, all right, not bad, but we're probably going to hold off on the next one and give you guys a little more time to work. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
NXT ads are popping up like crazy on SmackDown. So I don't think that, it's not like that I think that you're wrong at all. I think that you and I have very different visions of what should be here. And you're like, no, this stuff should be tight and good like it's been, because they've, in the past couple of years, ever since going to USA, they only put their top guys out there at all. And I say guys, I'm talking about women too. Where I'm more of the mindset of, well, it's developmental. We should see people struggling too. And I don't know, fresh faces and stuff. I don't know where the right answer is there. Justin, where do you fall in this? What do you think?
I liked that what you just said there, because that was like, that makes sense. Like, again, like it's we're watching them grow now. It's not, they're just doing all this off screen and we're not seeing them get like a chance to get better.
Yeah. Well, like you used to say, Amanda, they would do the coconut loop until they were TV ready.
Yeah.
Well, maybe there's a slight different shift in how they're doing it. Maybe because the coconut loop is maybe not what it could have been because fans aren't what, you know what I mean? Like maybe it's just more difficult to do that right now. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead, Amanda.
Yeah, no, I was going to say probably COVID kind of really killed it off. But then again, it's Florida and, whatever. But
that's true.
I think that it really, for me, that it's cool that if you're testing some things out, because I thought there were some things that were kind of rough this week. And I'm like, oh. And it's not because, I want that indie style. It's just, it's kind of rough, and that's where I kind of was sitting on the whole thing with it. So
I feel like NXT 2.0 is the show completely built and focused around potential and not current skill level. Where NXT before was completely built around the current skill level and like what those performers could provide. This is Adam Cole doing what Adam Cole does and always has done. It wasn't Adam Cole learning how to do things at a higher level. You know what I mean? And I use just him as an example because he was their big star for a long time. Where now we're seeing, here's the potential of a Braun Breaker, but this isn't who he's going to be by the time he leaves here. You know what I mean? Like those are two very dramatically different mindsets to go in when you're making a show. And I feel like before it was have Gargano do what Gargano does at the level that he does it, have Karrion Kross come in on the level that he is and perform at the level that he does it. But then these people were all leaving because they weren't pushed to perform at a higher level or a different expectation. And now you have Karrion Kross. Karrion Kross said on his own Instagram when he was talking about 9/11, it came up. He started the video about, thanking the fans for following him along and said something along the lines of, as I'm going through this challenge, that it sounded like was his idea, the way he said it. He goes that I wanted to put on myself of finding the character's footing and really delving into who my character is and not relying on the original display of him. You know what I mean? Like the way he worded it was a little ambiguous, but it really sounded like, if you listen, that it was intentional to remove the entrance and Scarlet and force him to be on his own and make it work before you reintroduce those things. feel like that the point of NXT 2.0 is that never happens again. That if he comes in saying, yeah, I know my package like this works this way, but I don't know what happens on my own. And I feel like they go, okay, well, that's where we're going to start you now. We're going to have you out there struggling and learning and growing. You know what I mean? Yeah. Yeah, a lot of the gear stuff is their decisions. So I don't know. Because a lot of them talk about, when you hear different interviews, about them coming up with their own gear and then putting together their own things. Like very little and I don't fucking know, but I've heard very little about the quote office telling wrestlers to dress this way specifically. Now, obviously in some cases that's just not true. Like Red Rooster, obviously they told him he had to put his hair up in a red mohawk. You know what I mean? Like Repo Man, obviously it was, we got to put you in a mask. Like there's things, right? But from what I've heard, by and large, with over the past number of years, it's, oh yeah, gear was my thing. It's their responsibility, you know. That I don't know how much direction they get from the quote office or not. I don't. But that was a lot to say. That I think that for me, watching each segment, I don't expect any segment for me to say, "Yep, this guy's ready to go on SmackDown right now." So I think it can be really frustrating for, especially Amanda, who had a bunch of her favorites who were TV ready, floating around.
Yeah. It's hard to see some of that sometimes. But it's like with Cross now, it's very interesting because it's like, well, you had this character that you've been developing, but is it more of, okay, he doesn't have a place in WWE, which I think he does, but it's kind of sad to see that. Like, they moved him up so quickly that he has to experiment on the main roster.
That's true.
Yeah, that's where I'm like, kind of like, I don't know.
But that's what I mean, is I don't get the impression he could have experimented in the NXT of old. It was very much, we need you to do this way, because this will work right now. Where it's all like look at Ricochet. Well, just go out there and do Ricochet matches. Well, I'm really bad on the mic and I don't feel comfortable with the mic. Well, then we just won't have you talk on the mic. Was that the answer? In a developmental program, is that the answer of, well, if you're struggling with it, we'll avoid it altogether? You know what I mean? Like, if there's one thing you don't need to teach Ricochet, it's how to take a bump. But if he leaves NXT and all he got was like, I had a bunch of great matches with bumps and ladders. And they go, well, how are you with a mic? He goes, I still don't feel like I've done any of that. Well, that's a fucking problem. You know what I mean? And so, matches like Elektra and B-Fab, I like just in the idea of, to me, I'm watching it for a whole other reason. When I watch SmackDown, I'm expecting high caliber pro wrestling at a high level. I expect that. I expect to fully enjoy almost every segment. When I watch NXT, I'm not. I'm looking to invest in new young talent and who's the next. Like, it's the next, right? NXT is who's next. So I don't know if we just got to shift our expectations of it, or if it just shouldn't be on network TV. I mean, those are both probably good answers, you know? Ivy from Diamond Mine? Isla, I think. I don't know. What do you think, Amanda?
You know, I don't know. I think the way... I'm liking the fact that we're seeing new people. Yeah. But the way it's kind of done right now, I personally think it's kind of sloppy and hard to follow. Especially if you want me to get invested in some of these people. That, that's where I'm kind of like, oh, I don't know how I'm feeling. So that's where I'm kind of in this, like, weird spot. Because that one guy, the one who's got this like Polynesian kind of like fusion little entrance and move set, I'm kind of like, the one thing that stood out is I'm like, bro, you are doing like 4 of the different, Polynesian, like you've got the Samoan war dance, you've got the Maori blah blah blah, and you got all this shit, and I'm like, whoa. It's like, it's cool to put all that shit in, but it's like, is it necessary? Because it felt like it was almost forced and over the top. So just things like that. And it was just kind of like, okay, was this really necessary? Because if I hadn't seen the guy before, I'm like, what the hell is all this? And it would have been nice to have a little vignette or something, because some people got them, some people did not. And it would have been nice to have that. Like, who is this person? And let the vignette decide if this might be a person that I may want to invest in or not. But you don't get that opportunity with everybody. So if that, I would probably enjoy it a little bit more. But also the neon shit bothers my eyes. So
that's funny. Grimmer is in the chat, and he says, "How long do we give NXT 2.0 to get their footing and give them a chance? 3 months, a year? You know, I think it's a good question too. I mean, we're in like what, year 2.5 with AEW, and people still say give it time. It's a new company. Can't expect them to invest in their women's division so fast. Can't expect them to invest in diversity very quickly. Like, it's one of the conversations I keep seeing pop up. It's not a conversation I feel like I have a proper voice to really weigh in on, but I do see it on Twitter where people talk about their lack of representation of black talent and their lack of representation of even women, minority women. Like, you have Thunder Rosa there, but she doesn't show up much. And most of the time we see women at this point, it's been Anna Jay. I mean, Tay Conti's from Brazil. I don't know where that lies in any of that. But I do say, like I said, I don't feel like I have the proper voice to really weigh in on it, but it's a conversation I do see, and that company's been around for like 2.5 years. Do we give NXT any room because they're with a larger company that's been around for so long to really re-find their footing and what they're going to look like? Because also when they hit USA to begin with, it was different than when they stopped being on or when they switched to 2.0. And it was different than what we saw on the network. Like, it's gone through a number of shifts in that regard, too, presentation-wise. So, I don't know. It's just worth a thought, I suppose. Especially when you think about, like, how strong this women's division has been. I mean, this whole episode was supposed to be mostly about the women, wasn't it?
Yeah, but their ad even didn't focus on women wrestling. It only focused on women as
eye candy.
I don't know, the drama that surrounds these stories.
It was a little weird, the commercial they had for the women. This one's all about the women, and every clip of the women were either, none of them were in wrestling gear, all of them were in just sexy clothes or kissing a man. And I was like, or it was a close-up on lips, and I was like, this is very, this is very naughty America.
Yeah.
Not that I've ever heard of that. What?
He said it.
What? I've never even heard of it. I read about it online in a research paper. But it was weird. But then the matches did deliver, though, I will say. But yeah, that was the next match, actually. Zion Quinn versus Oni Lorcan was the guy who had a very Polynesian look. Like you said, he had the Samoan tattoos, the was it a haka? Is that what they call it? The haka dance?
He had a haka dance, and he also had a one of the, like, from New Zealand, the Maori culture. He had one of the war dances. And then there was another thing that was kind of Tongan. And I'm like, whoa, why are you throwing all this shit in here? I mean, most people would know that, but, you know, I got it right away. But
I mean, it is possible he's from multiple lineages. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
as possible.
I mean, the islands
but he also,
are that, so.
Yeah, but he also could be overdoing it too. And I wonder if he will simplify. I will say that his haka dance I liked. Because a lot of times I see it, it doesn't look as intense as the way he did it. He made it really look like a war dance.
Yeah.
Where when you think about the way that the Usos did it when they used to do it, they did it awesome, but it also looked a little bit more friendly. And I've seen it presented in a more friendly light where it's all like, oh yeah, we're getting amped up. He did it and looked like, I'm going to fucking fight you. And I was like, fuck, he does it intense.
Yeah. No, see, because that's someone I can kind of get behind. You know, but it would have been nice to know a little bit more about what his story is before, because all of a sudden I see this guy come out and you're doing these like this kick ass like war kind of chant thing, and I'm like, you know, what's going on here? So it would have been nice.
They did say he was Samoan, so
yes.
Yeah. What do you think?
And then the other
go ahead
thing with Samoan people. Then the other thing that distracted me was the fact that, you know, okay, they said he's Samoan. So, of course, I'm looking at the tattoos and I'm like, so did you get it the Samoan way or not? And the Samoan way, if you do not know, is where they do the whalebone and they take whalebone and it looks like a dull needle and they just tap, 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 tap Yeah.
Oh, it's that one.
Yeah, the Rocks took I think 18 hours or something like that. But yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I've seen discourse about what way is like really. You know what I mean, I've seen discourse. Again, not a conversation I can weigh in on in any way to provide, but I have seen, because I did know that's the traditional Samoan way. Actually, Hawaiian culture is very similar in that too. The kind of poke. I forget the term of it, but it's like a poke type of style of doing it. And I've seen a lot of people talk about it, about what's okay or not, because there are some Samoans who have gotten the tattoos just done more like a traditional tattoo, just in that same kind of light. And there's guys, like you said, with The Rock, who did it very traditionally on the one side, but his Brahma Bull that he's got redone is done by the machine stuff. So it's like he's experiencing both sides of it. I don't know where I land. I mean, I obviously don't land anywhere on that. I got no say in that conversation, but it is interesting, and it does make me wonder. Yeah.
Yeah, it makes me think, God, you're a fucking tough son of a bitch if you fucking sat there for that long with, the fucking little whalebone thing, because that's not. It's a completely different experience than actually getting a regular tattoo. That's where I'm like, that's why I was thinking that, because I was like, that's a real man thing to do, like. That's
true.
Yeah, but I'm not saying that because I'm a female. I'm just saying because that's some fucking shit. I saw a program somewhere. I don't remember what it was, but they were talking about that stuff because I get nerdy for this shit. And they were showing people getting it done. And I was just like, Jesus Christ, because some of it looked like it was a nail, like a rusty looking nail.
Yeah.
Attached to a weld. And I'm like, holy God. Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. It's
it's brutal.
Intense.
It's badass.
Very brutal.
And that's why, like, when they talk about that, that's why it's like warrior. They talk about being warriors and getting the warrior tattoos and stuff. Is like you fucking you've gone through some shit to get that done.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's very manly.
Yeah. I did think he looked like he was wearing an awful lot, like the vest and the necklace and all that stuff, and the necklace seemed a little bit. It was like a little stiff. You know what I mean? It was just a little weird. But I don't know. We'll see where it goes with his presentation. He might calm it down. He might do it up. But I was really interested in him. I liked his look. I liked the way that he was presented. I liked, like I said, his Haka dance being so intense. I was like, this is fucking badass. Like you said, I was like, this is somebody I could really invest in. Yeah. But I also want to know more. I also want to know if he is in any way, and this isn't meant to be as horrible as it's going to sound, but I am wondering if he's in any way related to the Anoa'i family just because they have such a strong presence in wrestling. I'm curious. And the comment also they've always made about Samoa Joe being from the only Samoan in the business to not be from the Anoa'i family just makes me wonder if this guy is associated with either of their families. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, that's a really good point, because the other thing about when I think of it is from New Japan, Toa Hanare. He's from New Zealand. He's Maori, and it's interesting because when he used to come out, it's definitely like almost non-existent really anymore, and it's sad, I think, because that's his heritage and that's his culture and whatnot. Now it's whatever, but I'm really kind of excited to see where this goes with this guy. Or are you going to Usify the guy, or give him the Roman Reigns treatment, which it's like, no, dude, not all these damn Polynesians are the same. Give him an identity, and I think that would be a lot better than, whatever. But
yeah. And it was just a quick introduction. I mean, we'll see how it goes. The only time we saw him before was when he was talking shit to the guy on the outside of the outside of the arena when he was trying to flirt with the women. Justin, you've been quiet for a little bit. What do you think about all this?
I said the exact same thing during it. I was like, I really like Zion Quinn. He's got that look that I got invested into him, and I'm like, he looks like he's gonna go really far. Like, and I was interested just watching him. He, I don't know. There's just something about him that just seems like I think I'm gonna really like seeing more of him, like, in the future.
What were you said you noticed Samoan, Tongan, what was the other one you said?
Samoan, Maori. That's the one from New Zealand.
New Zealand?
Yeah, the Maori. Mm-hmm.
Oh, we pulled
There
him up
could
here. It
have
looks
been-
like he's from Samoan and Irish descent, and he looks like he was on the Australian rugby team.
Mm.
So he might be near that New Zealand lineage as well.
I would, yeah, but most of the time with all of those, with the different Polynesians and etc. I mean, I don't want to say they're all the same, but a lot of the traditions and the cultures is, people have moved across. They do overlap a lot. So and then when you get to Hawaii, you're like, oh, this is just fucking everybody all in one melting pot. So
that's cool. Looks like he played in the Polynesian Cup too. So yeah, I mean,
nice,
pretty fucking cool. Producer brought up a good question too. She wonders what Samoa Joe thought of the whole thing. His have you ever seen his chronicle? He talks about his whole family being dancers.
Yeah,
like from the traditional dances. Yeah, Polynesian performers. So yeah, I wonder what he thought of it too. Probably loved it. Probably just thought it was badass.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
In the chat real quick, GR Lunar does say cheers to everyone. Cheers to Lunar for coming through. And Bishop says Roman talked about it on Corey's network show. There's a show they have about tattoos. And he said that today's guys typically use artists of their culture, but use today's technologies when they're getting their tattoos. That doesn't mean that some people don't use the older technologies. Like you said, Amanda, it still happens. So it does, in the most just fascinated aspect, it poses that question. Did you do traditional or did you do new technology? Not that one's better or worse necessarily, but one of them just is fucking wildly tough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think they say that makes you a man in those cultures. Don't know if that's true or not, but
Right. Yeah.
I don't know.
But yeah. So I like that. I liked his presentation. I like the song that he came out to. I'm on board. I guess his name was originally Daniel Vidot, which is actually a lot more familiar to me. I think I remember when he got signed. So
he left rugby to do.
Yeah, he's a rugby player.
He's from rugby to WWE.
He retired from rugby to go pursue wrestling.
Okay, but what does that mean? Is he signed to WWE or did he do any other wrestling?
Yes, WWE.
Right. So here it goes. Here's another non-independent dude. We talked about it before.
Yeah.
When I was watching Extreme Rules, we were going through the lineup, and I was like, yo, there's only like 3 people on here who are ever indie wrestlers on Extreme Rules. A lot of them are homegrown. So I think that concept that people have of NXT saying they're going to stop poaching the indie market for a while and look towards the athletes to become wrestlers is really more of the same, and people should calm down about it. People were really freaking out about it, and it's like, I mean, this dude immediately stood out. Braun Breaker immediately stood out. Neither of them have an independent background. You know what I mean? There's more to it than just having an independent background. I don't know. I'm just saying everybody needs to calm the fuck down.
Apparently, it says he's 31.
31?
So the rumor was, WWE's not doing 30-year-olds anymore.
Oh, well.
No.
Oh,
But he also
another
signed
one.
on a couple years ago, so.
Another one proven wrong.
Yeah. Yeah. Anything you guys wanted to put on that before we move on, or?
No, move on.
Next.
Yeah. But yeah, he seems like a cool guy. I'm excited to see more of him. Let's see. MSK had a promo. And I love MSK. And I don't understand why people give him shit and don't cheer him for everything they do. They're just the fucking coolest and the smoothest in the ring.
Yes.
Yeah. I think it's a big kind of jealousy thing, because they're like, I think I've said it before in episode 1. It's like there's some people who work better in a tag team, some people who work better as singles, and then you have a very few that are hybrid that could do both.
Yeah.
And I think because those 2 guys can do both, that's a big threat for a lot of people. So I think that's why, people boo them, or, they don't like them, or whatever the reason is. But it's like, those guys are awfully fucking talented.
Yeah.
Awfully talented. And if you can't respect that, then I don't know what the hell you're watching. But I think a lot of it's probably it's a jealousy thing in the back, and it is what it is. So, and they're no longer the PWG world championship tag
Yeah,
team.
who the tag champs are now, though.
So yes, it is. What was it? The Kings of Black something. Yes, Brody King.
Oh, Brody and
Alice.
Brody and
Malachi, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Fucking
They don't
A,
call them.
God.
They're not the ones that ultraviolence, right, or whatever.
No, ultraviolence was ultraviolence or violence. It was
Violence
violence
Unlimited. Yeah.
Yeah, that's Ring of Honor. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So yeah.
But for our
So
purposes
how did
right
they?
now,
How did they do it? Did they just vacate the titles and have a match for it, or?
yeah, they vacated the titles.
Yeah. Okay.
They were trying to get permission to go do it, but at the end of the day, I think somebody said no. And the somebody was Vincent Kennedy McMahon. So, but whatever. I mean, it is what it is. But yeah, no, I think that these guys. I mean, it's incredible to watch, and to be honest, like people want tag team wrestling. I mean, AEW obviously is putting a big push on that, and there are a lot of really good tag teams out there. So.
And I will say,
Yeah.
in defense of them not going, Wes Lee is fresh off of 2 injuries since they debuted less than a year ago.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So do you really want to put him out there in some other place going as hard as he can to impress the PWG fans and potentially get injured again and not your ring? If you're going to get injured, it's going to be under our umbrella.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I can understand
Yeah.
that, especially if he's gone through 2 injuries since he got there. You know the guy's going to go hard. He's not getting injuries because
always
he's
goes
fucking
hard.
up. He goes fucking
Yeah.
hard. So
yeah, they always go hard.
yeah. And you think Brody and Malachi are not going to go hard? Like, there's a big risk there. Look, dude, you keep getting injured, and we are fucking trying to push you to the goddamn moon.
Mhm.
If you're going to get injured, it's going to be on our show. Like, because we just
Yeah.
can't just have you out for another 6 months and have to say, well, yeah, because he wrestled in some fucking other place and it wasn't televised. Like, you know what I mean? Like, fuck.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I could see that because these guys are legit. They put it all out there.
Yeah.
And thinking about MSK too, and even seeing the little bit that they did here physically, MSK and Ricochet are so fucking good about moving naturally. Everywhere their body ends up feels like that's where you would go with momentum and with a purpose and with some sort of strategy. When I was watching AEW, I kept seeing a lot of these high-speed flippy dudes moving without sense, stopping their own momentum to get themselves somewhere else. And I kept thinking, like, fuck, if these guys just, like, could tap into what MSK and Ricochet had, this match would make sense. But because they're trying so hard to get places that their momentum's not taking them, it makes this whole thing look clunky and weird and kind of dumb. And, like, just a big clunky dance. Like, that's why I love guys like MSK. Justin, what do you think about all this?
No, I completely agree with that. MSK does feel like a team that is like they're high flying, but they're more controlled, and they know like where they're going with it. And I've been a fan of them since I never got to see their indie days, which sucks. But I got to see their Impact time, and then every time I was always going, God, I wish these guys would just come to WWE. And now that they're here, I'm fucking always happy every time I see them.
Dude, I get the smile on my face every time they even come out. They barely even start
Oh, yeah.
talking yet. Their charisma is off the charts.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's insane.
Absolutely. And you can't teach people that. It's like you either have it or you don't.
What would it have been like if Trey had went with them though?
I know. But that's okay. That's okay. Trey is good. I think now I think that who's he working with now? Myron Reed. I think he's gonna maybe help develop Myron Reed, and those guys are gonna get that. So that's gonna be your Rascals. Well, they're called the Little Rascals right now, but I think that's gonna be the next kind of, I guess, the future of that.
I like that pairing, especially since Jordan Oliver's out in the Indies.
Yep.
So Injustice is the thing right now.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. Let's see. Let's go into a little bit more of some of the stuff. Io Shirai versus Zoe, or Io Shirai and Zoe Stark versus Toxic Attraction. I want to know what you're thinking about this, Amanda.
You know, I really like Toxic Attraction, and I don't know why. And I was trying to tell myself when I was watching it, why do you like them so much? And I think it's because it seems, because I think the two gals wrestle better as a tag team than they do individually. But I think that because it's something that is with women, it seems like, oh yeah, you just throw people together and throw it against the wall and see if it sticks. This is a case of they threw people together, they threw it against a wall, and it sticks. Yeah. And not only that too, but when you put Mandy into the mix, it's like, damn, you know, she is bringing, you know, an element to that I've never seen her do. It's very intense, and I think it's, you know, it's like, wow. So when I watched them, I mean, it was really great to see them wrestle two really outstanding women. So I personally liked the match. Didn't go how I thought it was going to go, but it's going to be interesting to see who's going to end up taking the belts from Io and Zoe. Because I thought this would be a good opportunity, but
yeah, me too. I honestly think that down the line, Toxic Attraction might be the team that takes the tag titles while Io and Zoe get called up, and then we end up with Toxic Attraction kind of holding down the thing. But Justin, what do you think about this?
I thought it was great. There is something about Toxic Attraction that I like. I don't know what yet, because I think it mainly because I'm a fan of Gigi Dolan, because I like her a lot. I know she gets a lot of shit for the stuff she did on the indies and stuff, but if you just completely erase that shit and think of like how good of a wrestler she actually is,
and the fact she just can't do that shit on national TV, so we're past it now, is also good.
Yeah, but her and JC just seem like they're the same. They're like one and the same. They're the same person. So they fit well together as a team. And Mandy's a good like glue for them both, which I like a lot, honestly. Like for me, if I have to be like, I'm just gonna say it right now, I haven't really been the biggest Mandy Rose fan. I have never really. She's always had this thing where I can't get into her. Like, I think the only time I've really gotten into her was the stuff with Otis, and that was really it. But even then, she wasn't really wrestling a lot. So, but that was like more of the time I liked her. But she's growing on me a lot now, and I honestly thought they were going to take the titles because stupid story that they're telling with Zoe and Io that still to me makes no fucking sense as to, oh, they were besties to get the titles, then they get the titles and now they just don't like each other. But then when they're in a match with the titles on the line, they're best friends again and they work together well. And I'm like, this doesn't make sense. None of it.
Yeah, and I thought with the draft here too, Io and Zoe are both ready for the big time. I felt like it'd be an easy time to take the titles off them and have them either drafted as a team or drafted separately. Like, but I think drafting them as a team could have been nice because really, what's everyone's biggest concern been for Io when she moves on from NXT? What are her promos going to be like? You know, Zoe can do the talking.
Zoe Stark looks like she'd fit on the main roster.
Yeah. And how much does the women's tag team division need a little bit of bolstering? You know? So you can put Io and Zoe there, have Zoe doing most of the talking, Io doing some of the talking, and that could work. Could really work. Let's see. Bishop says, hung around as best I could through all the burying. He goes, I'll have my cape on when I see y'all next Wednesday for episode 1. Yeah, dude, thanks for coming through. We started a little late. We got an extra person in the conversation, and I watched all of AEW, so we had a little more to talk about. So we're gonna barrel through. So cheers for coming through. We'll see you on episode 1 next Wednesday. He's gonna fill in for us. But yeah, I'm loving Toxic Attraction as a team. I think they're really good because I see that there's a ton of potential because it's not the perfect everything yet, but everyone seems to be bringing something to it that I like. And I do think that, like you said, they didn't win here, but I thought that it'd be crazy not to think that they're going to be the women's tag champions soon. You know what I mean? They're like on the cusp of it.
Oh, yeah. Definitely. And I think that, you're right about the whole, bringing Zoe up and Io up. And these are the ones to do it. Because if you look at Toxic Attraction and you compare them to, let's say, someone like a team like what's her face, why am I blanking, fucking Ricochet's girlfriend,
Casey and Kaden.
Yeah, Casey and Kaden. It's like, okay, you're good, but there's nothing there, you know what I mean? Like every time I see the two of them, I'm like, you guys are good, but it's kind of
Yeah, they're a peculiar team. They have great chemistry.
Yeah.
They actually work well in the ring. They're starting to have personality as like this TikTok team, which is kind of funny. They do their little dance on the way to the ring. But there's something about it that's definitely missing.
Yeah.
And I don't know what that is.
Yeah. And like Ember Moon and Shotzi Blackheart, I mean, they, as nice of a little duo as it is, again, there was some kind of like disconnect and something like missing a little bit.
Yeah.
Because I think that the tag teams, that when you see somebody, a true tag team, when they have that, like Tamina and Natty, to me, there's something there. There's some kind of synergy there. Yeah. And that's what Toxic Attraction has. Just, if you put all three together, or just use, the two, Gigi and why am I blanking? Yeah. I think that would be, it works either way.
And I really do like and appreciate that Mandy Rose is in this veteran kind of position there.
Yeah.
Just because on the main roster, she seemed to have gotten lost a lot, and there was always something about her. There was always some sort of star power you could sense there, but she was always just not quite there with everyone else. It is kind of cool to see her in kind of a veteran position here. The smart, wily veteran I like.
Yeah.
Let's see. As we keep going, though, Boa versus Andre Chase. I'll be honest, both of them are kind of falling flat to me right now.
Andre Chase is just funny, and that's it.
Yeah. I haven't written them off either, but I haven't connected yet. It's a little weird that I don't know that Andre Chase needs to wrestle in a sweater. Maybe it's just like the little things that they're trying to hold on to gimmicky that someone like.
He's Chris Nowinski, pretty much.
It's what?
I said he looks like Chris Nowinski. He's doing the Chris Nowinski gimmick with the freaking university freaking dressing up in the sweater and all that stuff like that. And I was like, hey, look at that.
That's true. Yeah. Amanda, what are you thinking about this?
Well, first of all, the whole Tian Shaw thing, I'm like, God, you guys really shit the bed with this one. Like, now, I'm like, I don't get it anymore.
Yeah.
There was such a build with it, and it was so mysterious. Like, we wanted to see what was going to happen next. And then now, it's like, what the fuck?
Yeah. Yeah, there was a while we were talking about how that was like the coolest shit they had every week was the Tian Shaw stuff. And now it's kind of like really fizzled out with the loss of Xia Li.
Yeah, and I think that's sad. It's very sad.
Well, one reason is because I feel like Boa's just not that impressive at all.
No, Boa's very generic.
He's not bad. Go ahead.
He's just a body to stand there, and that's it.
Yeah, he's not bad, but he doesn't bring the viciousness kind of attitude that Xia Li brought, which is crazy when you think about it, because she's like 5 foot, but there's something about the intensity that she brought that made all that stuff stick together really well. And Boa doesn't bring that, and so it's really kind of like, what are we doing, So, yeah, I agree with that. Andrew Chase is pretty funny, though. It's just...
Did somebody say Andre Chase? And I'm like, there we go.
Roderick Strong and Grayson. Oh, there was that backstage segment too with LA Knight cutting a promo, and Odyssey Jones shows up and he beats him down a little bit. I fucking love LA Knight.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've heard so many people lately say that they think LA Knight's just like going to be a lifelong mid-carder, and that he's probably doing the peak of his work in NXT right now, and it's going to be like they don't see it. And I'm like, I just don't get that. I see nothing but just infinite star power there. Am I just blinded by something?
No,
No.
because I
He
think
was going up there in the draft, that's for sure.
because you got to see him in a very intimate setting,
Yeah.
I think it makes a huge difference, because seeing him live and doing his shit is a lot different than when he does it on camera, because you lose a lot of it. But it always evokes in me memories of seeing him do it in person, because it's just so charismatic. He just commands a fucking room, right? So, and you don't get those feelings when you watch it on TV. So I can kind of think that people feel that way, and I can see why people will feel that way. But no, he's got something, because you don't naturally, you don't naturally have people that can talk like that, on the mic. You just don't.
Do you think it's going to come with people going to more shows, that the crowds are going to just eat them up at a certain point, where it's going to be like, look, you can't deny the electricity in the room right now?
Exactly. I think so. But the problem is, it's like, how do you go from, because obviously he was on Impact, and Impact has very small, boring crowds. How do you go from that intimate kind of size of maybe less than 100 people to like almost like 10,000? 10,000 people. It's like, will it go? Will it work? I think it will, because the whole thing, everything is so like, it's just that's what the WWE crowds, that's the kind of shit they love to eat up.
Yeah. That's a good point too, because even when you think about it, the whole what thing could almost be twisted around into
Yeah.
Remember when we were in NWA, how the whole crowd was just after every time he would even say it? It was just
Oh my god,
it was insane.
It was great. Yeah, it was insane. It was great.
Justin, what do you think? I don't know. I don't think you've ever seen him live. Do you think that we're both rose-colored glasses on this one? Do you not quite see it? It's totally okay.
No, I definitely think that. Honestly, I think LA Knight will be able to handle getting in front of that, like just the elevation of the crowds, like the difference, because he definitely comes off as a star. Like, no matter what, even on camera, to me, he still has that feel to me. Like, I know everyone says it's different when you see it live, but even then, he has that in him where he just comes off on camera where you're like, yeah, he's a big deal. He's a reason I should care.
Yeah, no, he's a badass. And even when I met him, he was like, couldn't have been nicer as a person to me.
Oh yeah.
Let's see. Roderick Strong versus Grayson Waller.
Fucking chair. Fucking chair.
It's the old chair. The old rickety chair.
Goddamn thing.
Strong versus Waller was a good match, but that's kind of how I felt about it.
I like Grayson Waller.
Yeah.
I want to see more.
Anything you want to say about him? Or?
He impressed me. Like, I want to see more. Like, he's got this weird, like, he looks weird with his whole dressing like a boxer, but he's a high flyer thing. I'm like, that's bizarre. I'm like, but I kind of like him. I like it. I want to see more.
I got you.
I was confused.
You were confused? Oh, the way he was dressed and all?
I was like, did I miss something here? But that was just me. I don't know. I just was like, okay. Maybe I need to see this person again. I don't know. That's kind of how I felt.
What do you guys think about the Lashing Out with Lash Legend talk show segment? Producer lady fucking hated it. What did you think, Amanda?
It was awful. It was awful. It was like, okay, you're trying to be like Wendy Williams, first of all, which you're not, because you're not that funny. And it was just kind of stupid because it's like, oh, you're trying to recap what we, have been seeing the last few weeks. And it's like boring. At least, Britt Baker and her, like, the thing that she did with her, whatever on Dark, that was okay. But that was just like, no, that was a waste of time. And if that's how you're going to introduce this chick or introduce other people from this new improved NXT, doing it wrong.
What do you think of it, Justin?
Yeah, no, I fucking hated it. It was just absolute waste. I didn't immediately think Wendy Williams right off the bat, but then I was like, oh yeah, that's definitely Wendy Williams ripoff. And I was like, this is fucking stupid.
I definitely thought Wendy Williams pretty early on. I think the best thing that came out of this segment was she talked a little bit about who she is and why she's there, and talked about how she was a WNBA athlete. I thought that was interesting to learn about, because I remember when they had talked about they had signed someone from WNBA and just didn't know who they all are, right? So I thought that was a good thing to come out of it. But ultimately, not being a Wendy Williams fan to begin with, I was a little disconnected. I didn't think it was like absolute garbage. I could see that they're trying something a little bit new. I thought one of the nice bits about it was that as a talk show, they presented it like a talk show, where most of the time talk shows are done in WWE, at least, it's in the middle of the ring and the crowd around the ring is your audience. They did this one like it was from a soundstage with a in-studio audience, and I liked that as a look, as a presentation, to be like, this is a proper talk show host. This isn't a wrestler with a talk show. It's a talk show host who's probably going to wrestle. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Again, I'm not saying that makes this amazing, but it was my takeaway of like, oh, what an interesting way to try and portray this person. I just don't know how I don't know what the kind of legs that it has, though. I don't know like how many times you can do this before this show's got to get broken up. It's got to have a fight in it. Like, you know what I mean? It's going to have to go somewhere pretty quick because, like you said, it's recapping and petty about characters she's never going to interact with. You know what I mean? Her saying that Andre Chase sucks, she's not going to get in the ring with Andre Chase.
No.
You know what I mean? Her saying that Cora Jade should be dating Jiro, what the fuck is that doing? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, that was weird. Yeah.
I think Cora Jade sent a nasty tweet at her, and we might get a Cora Jade versus Lash Legend match, but it was a really weird way to get there, and I didn't think it was. I mean, it was just weird. But like I said, I think the presentation's interesting. I don't know how much it has for longevity, but it was an interesting way to introduce somebody. It's it didn't click with me where I was like, this is brilliant. Like, I didn't think that for a second, but I was like, oh, okay, this is different.
No. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how many times I want to see it, but
that was the other thing too. I was like, is this WWE's answer to Jade Cargill?
No, I think Jade Cargill is AEW's answer to Bianca Belair.
Thank you.
Oh, interesting.
I don't think that WWE. I don't think WWE's concerned at all about Jade Cargill because she's 100% look and no skill with talking or wrestling. So I think they have nothing to worry about as long as they've got, like, if you want to go that route, they've got Bianca, they've got BFAB, they've got Lash Legend, they've got strong black women, athletic, with fantastic builds who can talk and wrestle. Like, they're not trying to. Oh, I mean, from the WNBA standpoint, yeah. There's that. So now there's a WNBA player too, but I don't think Jade Cargill's bringing anything to AEW that WWE doesn't have in spades already.
True.
I was happy someone finally said that because I've been saying that I feel like forever. That Jade was like a dollar store ripoff of freaking Bianca.
Yeah. I mean, and even then, WWE's got Sasha Banks. Like, I'm saying as far as strong, athletic black women, WWE's got that. AEW needed it. They just happened to grab somebody who was just aesthetically pleasing and not skilled in the facets of wrestling, and so it's going to be a bit of a struggle for a bit. And if they're learning from Brandy, it's going to be a struggle for a long time.
Oh, boy.
So, But yeah, so I mean, as far as WNBA, I do think it's interesting because they probably know each other. I wouldn't be surprised if they were friends. It'd be neat to be a fly on a wall for conversation between the two of them. But let's see. Kyle O'Reilly defeated Rich Holland. I like Rich Holland, man. He's just fucking great. He's just so good.
Yeah.
Producer said that she thought Rich Holland. She said that when she sees him, she thinks of old pictures she's seen of Stu Hart in his prime, just like these big kind of lumbering. And I was like, all right.
I can see that.
Yeah.
Nice comparison.
Yeah. And he's just impressive. Rich Holland's the type of dude where we were at SmackDown Live and we were all the way up against the wall and he came out to the ring and we all three looked at each other and went, God, he's so big. Like, we're way far away and he just looks so big. Like,
I just want to see one
impressive
match
guy.
from him. I just want to see one match with him, and that's with Sheamus.
Yes, I want that bad. Ridge versus Sheamus is my dream match right now. And then there was the main event, Raquel versus Frankie Monet. Justin, what do you think of this match?
To be honest, this was probably the worst Frankie Monet match I have seen. She looked awful in this. Like, I hate her pairing with Robert Stone. I cannot wait until she just says, "Screw this, I'm done with it." It was just not. I did not like it, honestly.
Yeah.
It just felt like it honestly felt like almost a squash because even Frankie looked so bad that it looked like she got no offense in whatsoever.
Amanda?
Yeah, that match was rough. And I kind of think that Frankie Monet's whole run there has been rough. Yeah. And I really, like, honestly, like, I don't think she belongs there at all. Not saying, oh, go to somewhere else, but it's just not working. The character doesn't really work for me. I mean, it's like a hot mess. Yeah. You know, so I'm one of the people of the school of thought of, you know, yeah, you might not want to do that. So, and especially because now this week, it's very interesting about some of the women who've gotten signed to different places. Like Kara Hogan signed to AEW.
Yeah.
Willow Nightingale. She was the one I was like, damn, they need to have Willow Nightingale. They want to try to have a dominant, you know, AEW, have a dominant women's thing. They need to have Willow Nightingale with it. Where does she end up going? Ring of Honor, which I thought was weird. But, you know, whatever. Probably the worst women's division of them all. But I think that it's not working. Yeah. And, you know, I get that, you know, you own, you know, that's her name. She owns the Taya Valkyrie and she was not going to give that up. I get it when people do that. But just this whole thing is it's just not working.
Yeah, it's not working.
It's kind of weird, right? Because she was such a big star everywhere she was. And she was always in, like, phenomenal shape. And it feels like we're not getting that here. And this match, to me, did feel a little bit like two baby deers ice skating.
That's a pretty fucking spot-on comparison.
Yeah.
But I also feel like some of that falls on Raquel. Because I feel like Raquel's been carried by a lot of people in that ring. I feel like she's she's not sure-footed enough to be champion. And her strength alone isn't carrying her through it. And I felt like that both of them were not doing each other any favors. And they both were... It didn't look like a struggle in a fight sense. It looked like a struggle in a get through this spot sense. Like,
yeah,
they were having hard times working with each other. And I felt like Frankie couldn't carry Raquel and Raquel couldn't carry Frankie, and it just brought them both to their lowest common denominator effectively, you know? And I agree. Yeah. Frankie's been unimpressive since she's got here, and she was the person I was most excited for when they signed. To be honest, I was like, oh shit, this is it. And it's been really lackluster, and I don't know what it is. And it's a bit of a bummer from a fan standpoint to be so excited and then just to not feel like you're getting much of it. And like you said, the Robert Stone pairing was completely deflating to begin with.
Yeah, because it's
I don't
Robert
like-
Stone. Oish.
Yeah, I don't like anything he does.
No.
Yeah, to go off your thing about Raquel, to me, she feels like this was their way to make up for Rhea leaving. They were like, what's the closest thing we have to Rhea? And went with Raquel. So that was just what they did.
Yeah, I felt that too, and I think that was just too soon.
Yeah.
Because I honestly feel like there's other women on this brand who could probably carry those matches.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think any of them were on the show today. Well, Zoe Stark could have, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Io lost the title. Mandy Rose, you could have done that with, I think. But I think she's in a better spot where she's at. Xia Li, I think, would have been a better decision.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I don't know. There's so much to it, right? Because maybe they knew Xia Li was getting called up. Looks like Dakota Kai's 1 foot out the door. She's been on SmackDown a lot, or in the dark matches, you know? So is Aaliyah. We haven't seen her in a bit. Aaliyah, Xia, and Dakota have all been in dark matches on SmackDown nights. So I don't know. It seems a little soon, and this was one of those ones where it kind of like, to me, it solidified that. Where I was all like, am I not seeing what other people are seeing in Raquel? Because everyone's talking about how amazing Raquel is, and I keep thinking she's being carried through matches. And then this match happened, and it's kind of like, can we all agree that maybe this is a little soon? Like, I don't know. And maybe we shouldn't all agree, but I don't know. I don't know. This was a little rough. And it wasn't as terrible as I thought it was going to be, too, because I saw a few tweets out there about how terrible this match was, and I was like, oh, is this going to be a total nightmare? And it wasn't a great match, but it wasn't garbage. But it was clunky. It was weird. They were struggling with each other. Like, there's some unsure moments for sure. But at the end of it, Toxic Attraction comes out, floors Frankie Monet. The first thing Raquel Gonzalez does when she gets surrounded by them is she swings her belt at Gigi Dolan, and you can hear it clip. You can hear the belt clip Gigi in the eye or on the side of the head or whatever. She lays out for a second. When Gigi gets back in, she's just spilling blood. It was nuts. And then, because I remembered that she was bleeding, and I went back to rewatch it and see that spot and figure out where it was that it happened. When Gigi gets in there, she fucking like hawks back and kicks her in the gut. And she kept punching Raquel like in the ass. It was a bunch of butt punches.
Yeah.
But you could see them all landing. And I was like, is she just fucking like, look, I can't bruise you where people can see, but I can fucking bruise you where people can't. And that's a safe punch, right? You get punched in the butt, and it's not like, oh, you broke something. It's like all meat. You know what I mean? Like, that's a safe place to get a receipt. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe go watch the last 30 seconds of that match and see with this whole run-in, and tell me what you think, because I felt like Gigi got back in the ring and was like, you bitch.
gave her a little receipt.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah. Did you catch any of that, Amanda?
Yeah. I was like, whoa. Yeah. I mean, accidents happen, but shit, that, when you're flinging shit around like that, you gotta be careful.
Yeah.
Because, no.
And
I
Gigi's
think
getting
that-
pushed right now. She doesn't need to be fucking sidelined because someone got wily with a fucking title.
Yeah. And especially when it's women's champ.
Yep.
I can't believe she threw the title. That's just freaking insane.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, she kind of whipped it. Like, she held onto it, but she kind of, like, whipped it around. Like, what? It was weird.
Yeah. I'm like, why would you do that? There's like people around. That's
Yeah.
like,
There's people around.
There are people around, you don't know. Or you could have lost control of the belt completely and it slipped out of your hand and it could have gone and, like, I don't know, trajected out toward, like, I don't know, like Wade and hit Wade in the face or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Because you don't know. But it's like, come on, you got to have some kind of, like, ring awareness. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And people, especially if you're going to be swinging shit that's not light.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. And she was probably gassed from the match, too. There was a lot of times you see Raquel go to pick up Frankie and can't get her all the way up. Frankie was, like, slanted for a lot of moves, and I was like, fuck, Raquel cannot get her up.
Yeah.
So she's probably gassed too and mismanaging and all that stuff. But
Mhm.
Justin, what do you think about the breakdown of the whole thing at the end?
Again, like I said, I haven't really been big for Mandy either, but again, maybe she'll get me to. She's getting me to kind of like her a little bit more. So seeing her and Toxic Attraction take out Raquel, hell,
Yeah.
Mandy's gonna take the title. Honestly, I'm just kind of over Raquel as champion right now. I think it's
Yeah.
time we get somewhere else now. I think if it's gonna be Mandy, I'll take it.
Yeah. I don't think
Yeah.
it. Yeah, she's not effective. I don't think without Dakota. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah, no, she's not.
That's
Yeah.
true. I think I'd like to see Raquel, even though I think Raquel's a little green. She's been there for a while, and I think that maybe her on a singles run on like Raw, even let her go to like do main events for a bit and learn from some of the more seasoned people up there. Like maybe that could be good for her.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe you have Mandy lead a heel faction as the top of the food chain, and maybe that's exactly how they keep the title on Mandy even, right? You get people
Mm-hmm.
working themselves up to a title shot, and every time Mandy gets close to losing it,
Mm-hmm.
her cronies jump in and stop that from happening, and then people can still get called up while getting towards the title but not taking the title, and then maybe it takes a little babyface faction to take her down before they're ready to take them all back up to the main roster, you know?
Nice.
I mean, it wouldn't be the worst thing to have a heel champion who's running roughshod on the whole company, you know?
Oh, hell no.
So, Justin,
I
you
can only
prefer Brunette,
I
Mandy?
can only see one person to take an offer though.
Who?
If Mandy gets the title, Saray.
Who?
Saray. Have
Yeah.
Mandy hold the title for a little while, but have Saray take an offer.
Mm-hmm.
It keeps breaking up. Who?
Saray.
Saray.
Saray. Yeah.
I
could see
Saray.
that.
Yeah.
I could see that. My headphones have been crackling a little bit throughout, but for whatever reason, every time you said her name, it just like dropped for me. I was like, "Fuck!" Just
You're like, I don't know who you're talking about.
yeah.
Yeah.
He's like, obviously it's bleep. I'm just saying bleep. It's like, fuck.
Oh, shit.
So, Justin, you prefer brunette Mandy to blonde Mandy?
Yeah, I like her. I like the hair color change now.
The hair change was so dramatic in her presentation and look that I had to look at pictures of her face because I was like, did she get work done or something? Like, there's no way she healed that fast. Like, it looked like it changed her face a little bit, but it didn't. You know what I mean? Like, when I take the pictures and like cut the faces out and put them side by side, you go, oh yeah, nothing happened, but the difference was dramatic in a sense where you saw like, this is almost different. Like, it was surprisingly dramatically different.
Yeah.
I like it
You know?
because when she gets that mean look on her face, Mandy's been having this mean look on her face. She keeps having it, and the darker hair makes it stick out more than it did with the blonde hair.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty dope. It's pretty dope. What do you think of Gigi Dolan's constant snarling?
I like Gigi though. She's got these weird facial expressions.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think she's doing punk rock type of thing. Producer kept saying she reminded her of Santana.
Oh,
Or was it
okay.
Ortiz who kept doing like the dog thing? Oh.
Oh,
You know?
I think that was
So-
Ortiz, right?
It was Ortiz, yeah. I mean, I think it's neat. I think it provides a little something to her. And I was like, well, what if Gigi? Because she was like, it looks like she just keeps trying to look like she's being mean and stuff. And I was like, well, she is. And I was like, but what if Gigi has the opposite of resting bitch face? What if she doesn't snarl and she just looks like the most approachable, nicest person? So she's got to do that, you know? Like, is that a thing? It's funny. Well, is there anything else you guys thought we missed over the week?
No, I don't think we missed anything really at all.
Yeah, we ran a little bit longer than we typically do, especially on some of these. But I was trying to do a favor and watch everything and then do it justice by actually breaking down the stuff. Because a lot of times it's just you who've seen any of it. So I just have you talk about your favorite stuff because we don't like to break down everything.
Yeah, but you need to watch the Hobbs and Punk match.
Yeah.
You do.
Yeah. I'll watch it for Hobbs. I'll watch it for Hobbs. But
That's why I watched it too. I was watching it for Punk.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Justin, thank you for coming through and getting us going, getting us wound up, having a drink with us, even if it was Sierra Nevada. We appreciate it. Did you finish your ice cream, Amanda?
Oh, that thing was gone right away. Yeah. That thing, I swear, I think in the first like maybe 15, 20 minutes, it was gone.
Yeah. Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect.
I have like a little chaos back here. That's why I've not been on camera for the rest of the show, because a little chaotic back here.
Nice. Nice. Yes. Well, guys, thank you for coming through and having a drink with us. Thank you to Justin Time 211 for coming through. Woo-hoo! Miss Amanda Jayne for making it work. We are at WOTR the show. I am at Ref Marsh. We have been brought to you by Flow State Coffee, which is a specialty grade coffee with L-theanine and raw cacao for productivity and creativity. Gives you better energy, focus, and mood than a regular cup of coffee while decreasing negative side effects like anxiety and blood pressure. And if you go to newwave.co, that's NOOWAVE.co, and put in promo code CHEERS, you can get yourself 10% off whatever they have going on over there. So I just wanted to tell you guys thanks for coming on through.
Yeah.
And we will be back next Wednesday for a whole brand new episode 1 right here in the dive bar of the IWC. Guys, that's last call.
Cheers.
Hey, producer lady here. Thanks for tuning in. Continue to support us or buy us a drink by following and putting the I in subscribe on Twitch. Or subscribe and review our podcast on Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen to us. Cheers!
I would never have a drink with wrestling on the rocks.